How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. There's a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over social media, mainstream media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, government has shut down. It's not really a big deal. Oh, what's going to happen? The sky is falling. We're going to die. We'll be all right. This ain't the first time it's happened. It won't be the last time. Ain't no big deal. The society will function just okay without the government, quote unquote, for a little while. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, an illegal alien superintendent of Des Moines, Iowa public schools. Not only was he here illegally, he also was a criminal with not one but two gun charges and a fake social security number and a fake work history and fake credentials and a fake doctorate. So, hey, there's so much about this guy. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the National Guard has been sent to Portland, Oregon, finally, because the Antifas, the drug addicts out there are out of control. They are harming regular, everyday normies for no reason at all. Something must be done with these people. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, there are some troubling links, some troubling connections between the Mormon Church shooter and the North Carolina dockside boat shooter. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. There's a whole lot going on that I want to talk about tonight. Oh man, that guy, the fake superintendent, like what's going on with him? Listen, basically what you have out there in Iowa is a scammer. A scammer. That's what you got. He was able to scam his way as an illegal alien into a position making $305,000 a year. $300,000, bro, from a scam. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. And it just goes to show how much these positions of power are needed. I mean, obviously not. See, this right here, that should be an alarm to people to show you that an AI could take your job. If you got an illegal alien with suspect education coming over here and doing that job, I mean, what's going on? Apparently, the credentials didn't matter. The education didn't matter. Nothing really mattered because he was able to do it without all those things. Not really. But there's so much there. This guy had fake birthdays, fake social security card, a scammer. A scammer. That's what he was. So we're going to see. We're going to see how the whole thing pans out. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how the whole thing pans out. And, you know, the funniest part about that is all the people out there supporting him. Oh, he's beloved. And this is, we're going to, and it's probably fake, though. It's probably just like when they kicked out the illegal aliens from Martha's Vineyard. Oh, we're sad to see you go. But really, they were the ones that called the police and be like, hey, man, can you get these people out of here? Can you get these people out of Martha's Vineyard today? Within 24 to 48, they were on the military base out in the middle of the ocean. Hey, go over there, kick rocks. We're sorry to see you go. It's the same kind of vibe. They probably knew he was not who he said he was after a short period of time on the clock. That's probably why in 2023 he became superintendent. All of a sudden in 24, here come the federales like, yo, what's going on? They probably told on him over there, but they didn't tell him. They did it stealthily. Oh, we're so sad to see you go. Okay, but y'all probably ones to call the police. And rightfully so, because the guy shouldn't have been here at all. But it's crazy to stay here, 26 years and not become a citizen and not get your proper documentation? 26 years? And you making $300,000 a year? Bro, you not making enough money to get that taken care of? Because the excuse for some people is, well, we don't have enough money and it's hard, it takes time. You got 26 years and $300,000 in your pocket a year. what's the holdup? Do you have any children? Are you single? Like, what are you doing with all your money? Building real estate in Guyana? Okay, like Black Lives Matter did with all that donation money? Is that what they're doing? Hey, man, this is a crazy, crazy world in which we live. I'm just glad to have my place in it and not be dealing with too much of the BS. I'm just glad to have my place in it and not be dealing with too much of the BS. But he's got to go to prison. He's got to go to prison because, look, if you have a gun charge and then catch another gun charge, because remember, in 2020, he catches a gun charge, that puts him on the radar right there. So in 2024, under the Biden administration, after he became superintendent in Des Moines, Iowa, the immigration judge said, okay, you have a final order of deportation in 2024. They're coming through with the, hey, man, you on the list, bro. It's hey, come on. Like, it's time to go. I'm not going nowhere. This dude, that ain't no guy in his accent. But anyway, this dude runs in a school. He had a school vehicle. Ran in the school vehicle, got out on foot and ran through the woods. They catch him. They go in the car. Oh, there go a gun. Oh, there go $3,000 in cash. Oh, you're not here legally. Man. Oh, man. Hey, shout out to President Trump. Shout out to ICE for doing your job because these people have to go. I'm tired. I think all of us are tired of double standard because let it be me, let it be you, let it be any one of us that get caught with not one but two guns illegally. You're talking about we're going to the penitentiary, we're making big rocks to little rocks. From the first gun charge, it would have been penitentiary time. Off the rip, I remember being a kid in high school, like 14, 15, knowing what the law was as far as the gun restrictions. Off the rip, mandatory 5-year minimum sentence if you have a gun illegally. That's what we were told. In high school, we were told that. We knew that back then. So you get to be 55 years old, packing the pistol illegally and don't get locked up. Please make it make sense. If we're threatened with that at 14 years old because you can't be charged as an adult at age 14 in the Commonwealth of Virginia, if we're told that in high school at 14 years old that we can go to prison for a gun charge, he got to go. And you know what? Like I said in my video, that right there is a problem with a lot of the illegal immigration. They do whatever they want whenever they want to do it, but we can't. Hey, you got a suspended license. We're going to extract you from the car, dump you on the head, kick you in the hind parts, all of that. Hey, you want to be here legally? You want to smoke crack? You want to sell crack? You want to scam people? You want to commit fraud? You want to carry a gun? You want to do whatever you want to do? Be in a gang? Kill people? Hey, we're going to be a little bit easy on you, okay? All right, but we saw the gun loaded in your car, one in the chamber, ready to rock. We saw that, but we're going to give you a pass. Let me get caught with a loaded pistol illegally in my car. They're going to take me to the penitentiary immediately. And we're going to skip past go. Ain't no $200. Ain't even no jail. They're going straight to the big house, to the hoosgoo, to the clink, to the penitentiary. So, yeah, all I would like for is the laws to be enforced evenly, whether you're here legally or illegally. That's all I'm saying. If we're held accountable as American citizens, then so shall they. So shall they. That's all that it is. Oh, and since I'm talking about, I don't want to say illegal aliens in this case, but it kind of ties in because, you got Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's going to be the halftime show at Super Bowl 60 next year, 2026. That's going to be out there at the 49ers Stadium in the San Fran Bay Area, California. So Bad Bunny, if y'all don't know, he is from Puerto Rico. And it was so funny because I put some on my Facebook, shout out to Facebook, and I'm like, Bad Bunny has no songs in English, but he will be at the halftime show. Why? I don't understand. Why would you put a guy right there during the halftime show that has no songs in English for an audience that speaks mostly English? People were mad talking about I'm being racist. People were saying that I didn't think he was American. It's like, I don't care about his nationality. I don't care about his skin color. I don't care about nothing. There's no songs in English. So most people in the United States that watch NFL football, I would presume, don't know who Bad Bunny is. It was the same thing with Kendrick Lamar. People did not know who Kendrick Lamar was. In the rap world, we know who Kendrick is, but they don't. The general public does not. And his music is not easily understood, although it's in English. So people were just at the TV like, what's going on here? I don't understand what's happening. It'd be the same thing with Bad Bunny because it's in Spanish. Now, it could be some catchy music or whatever, but I can't understand what's being said. So I'm just kind of sitting there like this. Same thing with Kendrick. Okay, some hot beats, some catchy beats. Okay, but all I hear is bada, 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 bada. I don't know what's going on. Okay, with Kendrick, Bad Bunny, it'd be the same thing. I do know English, but I couldn't really understand Kendrick. That's going to be the general consensus. I know some Spanish, enough to understand what you're saying if you're talking to me in context, but I'm not going to be able to understand what Bad Bunny is saying. A lot of people who speak Spanish see Puerto Rican Spanish as like a lower form of it. That's not me saying it. That's them saying it. I don't really understand the difference because I'm not a Spanish speaker natively. So I don't know the accents. I don't look at it like that, but they do. So that's my whole issue. They're talking about, oh, well, Puerto Rico's part of America. Great, fantastic. Can I get some English though? He can speak some English, but the song's not in English. That's all that I'm saying. All I want is an English speaker. That's why Creed and Nickelback were the bands to go to back then, because it was easy listening. It's in English and it's simple. Prince, one of the best halftime shows ever. Purple Rain, the performance out there in the hills with the guitar, playing the guitar in the rain, ain't that gonna top it. Bad Bunny, it's like Puerto Rican rap and a little bit of, it's like what we did. It's like our music, but Puerto Rican, which is fine, but the general public are not gonna understand. And then, of course, there's a whole transgender thing that's going on because he has dressed up with the breasts and everything, a little bit too graphic for me, in my humble opinion. He has done that, and he has kissed men on stage. So people, when they go to Google him, because they don't know who he is, they're going to see those things, and it's not going to be anything to explain it other than just it is what it looks like, which is male-on-male physical contact, which people don't really want to watch. Now, they're not going to be able to do any kind of transformer activity on television because that's an FCC violation. So I'm glad we are now familiar with them because of the whole Jimmy Kimmel kerfuffle. So if there's any kind of weird stuff that happens during the game and they cut it off, you know why they cut it off. They cannot show any obscenity on television that has, if you have an FCC license as a TV station, you cannot show any obscenity at any time at all, ever. You can't do it. And I would presume that two men kissing or a transgender drag show might fall into the category of obscenity. If it's not, we're going to see that challenged in the halftime show. We're going to see it challenged if they try to go that direction, but they really shouldn't, because you can't show stuff like that on network television. That's against the law, and it's been like that for many, many, many years, probably close to 100 years now. All right. 100 years that's been the law. So it ain't nothing against nobody. It's not because he Puerto Rican or whatever. Look, man, I don't care what color you are. I don't care about none of that. I couldn't care less. Let's just make it make sense for the American consumer. But you know what's going on. Let me tell you what's happening with Bad Bunny, since I'm right here talking about it. Jay-Z is the guy in charge of getting axed for the game, for the halftime show. He's in charge of getting the axe. Jay-Z has a record label called Roc Nation. Roc Nation is a subsidiary of Live Nation. Now, Live Nation and Ticketmaster merged to become one big company. So what they do is sell tickets for musical acts like a Bad Bunny. So for them, this is them promoting one of their bigger acts. For Kendrick Lamar, it was the same thing, but also with Kendrick Lamar, let me explain what's going on with that. That was also a money move. So Kendrick Lamar is signed to Interscope, which is the subsidiary of Universal. So when Kendrick Lamar, and I wonder if Bad Bunny is also on Universal. Probably is. Probably label mate. They probably be in the same office together, working on their stuff. They probably go to the same office to get their paycheck. But anyway, so that song, Not Like Us, is the only song that most people know from Kendrick because of the promotion from Jay-Z and the NFL. That helps Kendrick a little bit from some. He might get some shows because of that one song. He gets some residuals from the song being licensed, I suppose, maybe. I don't think Kendrick Lamar is the kind of guy that will own anything, but maybe he does. Maybe he'd be able to get some subsidiary from some residual from the song being licensed, but it helps record label. So we, the consumer, are kind of being bypassed in favor of what makes financial sense for the record labels and for the big companies, for Universal, Live Nation, etc. We don't really matter. So it's the same thing going on here with Bad Bunny being a halftime act next year for the big game. Let me look it up right quick. Let me see if it's on the same label. If it's on Universal or a subsidiary of it. All right, hold on. Let me see. It ain't. I don't see it on here. That's interesting. I'm gonna find it. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. There is quite a bit going on, but I gotta find that record label. I know he's not independent. Okay. Remus Entertainment. That's interesting. The Orchard. Scott Cohen. Okay, I'm getting a little bit closer. Sony. Okay. And yeah, just a big record label. Sony. He's on Sony. It's all about money. We don't really matter. Like, we're just like, whatever. Whatever y'all want that watch football every day, the people that keep the cities alive with these NFL teams, what's it, like 30, 32 NFL teams? You guys will go to the games and buy the merchandise and you're diehard fans and you go to sports bars and you watch the games and you're buying jerseys. Y'all be all right for the big game. This is a big money make opportunity. Y'all gonna come secondary. That's pretty much what that is. So shout out to you guys. Hey, I like American stuff. You know, lower 48 stuff. That's what I like. Personally, call me biased. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You know, that's just what I like. I think everybody likes what they like and what they grew up with and what culturally seems familiar to them. So that's pretty much where I'm at. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling with me. We got a whole lot going on. The National Guard. Oh, listen, Portland, Oregon, I don't know what y'all got going on, but something needs to, hey, I don't know what y'all got going on, but y'all got to figure it out. And it's been like that for a long time in Portland because of the drugs, really. That's the main thing driving it is the drug activity. I think without the drug activity, it wouldn't be as bad in Portland. It probably wouldn't be bad at all. But the drugs, I mean, it's just fueling so much of the negative behavior. The behavior that terrorizes regular everyday people, because check it out. People say that it's unconstitutional. It's all kind of things to bring the guard out to American cities. But it's like, okay, what do you suggest be done? People are asking for help. The local government cannot or will not do it. So why can't the federal government step in if they're being requested by the people, especially? I just don't really get it. I think the government should be able to do things like that when there's a problem. And it's not the same thing as just going into the street and harassing homeless people, innocent people. It's not that. They say, oh, you're harassing homeless people. Well, just because you happen to be homeless does not mean that you are innocent. You could be homeless and also be a violent criminal. We've seen that quite a bit. We saw the whole Daniel Penny, Jordan Neely thing. Remember that? They said that guy was homeless, but yet he was a threat and had already been arrested for attacking people, assaulting people. Okay, just because you're homeless does not mean you're a victim. It does not mean you didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes you got some really bad people out there in the streets. really, really bad people, and they don't mean you any good. They mean you all the harm in the world. So you got to watch out for that. Retro AI says politics or any other ideology don't belong in sports, period. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of blending the politics into sports. I'm also a fan of people of the companies doing what's right by the consumer. You know, Zephyr K9 says, well, the preamble to the Constitution does cover domestic tranquility. So there's that. Well, there's that. Exactly. There's that. Okay. There's that. That's what I'm saying. That should be part of what they do, is provide domestic tranquility. Crypto Mountain says, slow it down with the NFL after all the kneeling, Transformer, and Pride stuff. I agree with you. Listen, personally, Crypto Mountain Man and everybody else in the chat, I'm not even really a big sports fan anymore. I watch highlights on my phone, but beyond that, I can't. It's hard for me to sit and watch a game now. I'm good. I watch playoffs in the NBA a little bit, maybe a little bit of NFL playoffs, but it's not the way it used to be back in the day. Back in the day, you used to get excited for a football game. You used to be up. Hey, Sundays, it was up and it was stuck. I'm talking about from what? The pregame show, like Sunday, that was NFL football. The pregame show, 12 p.m., you get the 1 o'clock game, the 4 o'clock game, and the Sunday night game, then the Monday night game. And then came Thursday night. But now it's like, I don't watch any of it. Maybe I look on my phone and might see a highlight. But to sit and watch it, the game has changed. The atmosphere has changed. There's too much extra stuff they want to just introduce. So it's just weird. And that's something else, HP Benin. It does feel rigged. It feels like WWF. And I'm not against WWF, but I would appreciate them telling me from the beginning, hey, this is not necessarily authentic. It's just seeing entertainment. I would appreciate that 100%. But before I go any further into that, we got quite a few videos to cover today. So shout out to you guys for watching. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to the sponsors. You guys, of course, are at first, but also patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the description, or just visit patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, please go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to the regular website, anthonybeatlogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to see articles for each long-form video that I produce. And in each article, you got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonybeatlogan.com. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, anthonybeatlogan.com/contact-us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my snail mail address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. Yes, I am on TikTok, although I'm not on TikTok. If you know, you know. But all my links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonybeatlogan.com. And as I always say, if you ever think you're speaking to me or not, the best way is to cross-reference method of communication. My contact is easy to find. My email address, contact@anthonybeatlogan.com. It's right there on the website, easy to remember. If you can't, again, go to the website. But if you see someone with my face, my name in the YouTube comment section, or they send you a random email talking about, I could give you $500 right now. I'll give you the money right now. It's not me. I promise it's not. Okay. He might even look like me if you get on the call with him. He might even try to but I promise it's not me. Okay. I did my DNA test. I'm going to show that later. I did my DNA test and I'm pretty much a Nigerian. That's what I found out. So, yeah, that's my ancestry. But if they sound like this, they have not been here too long. Don't do that. So that's my cousin in them. Hey, that's my cousin in them. I can't really, I'm just warning you. You're like, okay, look, take it back a little bit. When you young, or even now, you go to somebody's house and there's a little bit of a warning beforehand. It's like, yo, they don't know you. This is your first time here. So my cousin and them, they a little bit different. They a little bit different. So just look out for them. If my cousin is talking about getting into some kind of scam or scheme, do not listen. I'm giving you that warning right now about my cousins in Nigeria. All right. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. I appreciate everybody for being here tonight. Let's get into a few things here. And we are going to show that tree. Hey, my DNA was crazy. I found 2 surprises. Everything else I already knew. I already knew the Nigerian part. I already knew the white, the Irish, the Scottish. But there was some other stuff I didn't really see. I didn't foresee coming. A Chinese accent, I don't got that in my DNA tree. I can't do that one. I don't know how I can do that one. Yeah, man, you got to talk to, you know what I mean, Naomi Osaka or something like that. But anyway, let's show my main man, Clarence Thomas. I got to show Clarence Thomas some love. Okay. We got to show Clarence Thomas some love. Probably also, FBA, what they say, FBA, Foundational Black American, probably got my same kind of DNA tree. Let's hear from him about Supreme Court and the decisions and laws and whatnot that comes from it. Check it out.
I don't.
And you know what? Before I let Clarence Thomas talk, some are going to say, "Oh, they got your DNA now." I mean, for real, whatever they want on me, they already been had it. So knowing what I know, they already got it if they want it. And for real, what's more important is what you put in this. If they want stuff on you, they can get it. And the technology they got, we don't even understand. We're trying to protect ourselves from what we know about technology without knowing what they have as far as technology to really see about you. Do you think you're actually private, that things are really secret? Like, they know everything already, so ain't no point in trying to be like, oh, I'm going to try to hide that from you. They already got it, bro. They literally already have it, so don't even worry about it. But let's watch my main man, Clarence Thomas.
I don't think that I have the gospel, and I don't think that any of these cases that have been decided are the gospel. And I do give respect to precedent, but the precedent should be respectful of our legal tradition and our country and our laws, and be based on something, not just something that somebody dreamt up and others went along with. You've got. Let's just take, for example, I think, do you think that Plessy was right? That was a precedent for almost 7 decades?
Right.
Or do you think you should have just followed it because it was already decided? Or do you think it somehow violates, it's so wrong that it needs to go? I don't think that.
So basically, not everything that Supreme Court puts out is going to be set in stone. It's not going to be the gospel all the time. Sometimes things can change. Sometimes, it's time for an upgrade, because we had some decisions. We had some laws of the land in this country that obviously could not be that way today. And they were decided upon sometimes by the Supreme Court, Plessy Ferguson, all that kind of stuff. So shout out to Clarence Thomas for really clearing it up. Now, speaking about government, speaking about lawmakers, we got Chuck Schumer. Okay. Now, the government has shut down, but it ain't no big deal. I would not worry about it if I was you. Now, we got a poll here from New York Times. Okay. New York Times. Now, this is going to be a left-wing paper. It's not New York Post. New York Post is Rupert Murdoch, who also owns Fox News. New York Times is New York Times, a liberal rag. But anyway, views on whether the Democrats should or should not shut down the government if their demands are not met. Out of all respondents, 65 say they should not shut the government down, okay? And the Democrats, of course, are responsible because what they want is healthcare for illegal aliens. That's what they want. That's why they shut the government down. If they cannot get that, then they don't want to go forward, okay? Now, here is Chuck Schumer responding to the poll. And this was funny because when he was talking about how it was biased, the people started laughing. They were laughing at him because of where it came from. Let's check this out.
Now, I know the leader is going to show a poll that says that Democrats will be blamed for the shutdown. There are many more polls that show Republicans are blamed. The question in that poll is biased. Biased. In the New York Times, but it's biased. If you turn the... That's true. I don't always believe the New York Times. You can be sure of that. Neither do you. Okay. Now, I know the leader...
Bro, bias? Is that what we're going to say? So you want to spin it like the question is biased about a Democrat shutting down the government and then y'all, the thing about it is y'all responded. Liberals responded. Democrats responded and said, yes, like we don't want you guys to do that. So, hey man, the government gonna be the government. Now, speaking about Chuck Schumer, hold on. Do I have sound? Wait a minute. There we go. Okay. Now, this is going to be Chuck Schumer in 1996. Now, I'm a mathematician, but 29 years ago? A little while ago. Okay. He looks a little bit different. Charles Schumer. Let's hear from him back in 1996.
Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. And here, the gentleman from Florida has put together the most effective anti-fraud measure we can find without it changing the actions of the government one bit. And we find all this opposition. Ladies and gentlemen of this chamber, what I worry about is that this bill, which started out with good intentions, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is going to end up being the same kind of thing that the public gets angry with us on. We say we're doing something, and we do nothing. Because every time someone makes a rational and small proposal to get something done, people say, well, what about this hypothetical, that hypothetical, etc. I urge support of this amendment. If you believe you want to stop fraud in immigration, you have no choice but to support this amendment.
Gentlemen. So when we say we want to stop the fraud, like the guy who was able to become a superintendent, although being here illegally, when we say that, we're racist. But Chuck Schumer and his bald spot back in the 90s were saying the same thing that we said. What changed? What changed? Have you given up on the American people and you want to bring in the migrants to, quote unquote, do the jobs that Americans don't want to do? Or do you just want cheap labor for your corporations who are, who you are in the pocket of? Is that what's going on? You're in their pocket, so you got to do their bidding? I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just asking a question. I wonder what changed in that period of time. But yeah, shout out to Chuck Schumer back in 1996. Now, this was hilarious, okay? So, shout out to Delano Squires, if I'm saying his name right, Delano Squires. I'm a little bit too country sometimes with these names. Delano Squires, but anyway, he's on C-SPAN, and somebody, I believe, wrote in talking about the government shutdown is going to impact blacks the most because we need the government to keep on advancing in society, okay? This was crazy, but let's go ahead and watch.
So I want to show you what Anthony sent us on X.
Not me. Let me start from the top.
So I want to show you what Anthony sent us on X. He says this: government is the biggest contributor to the state of Black America. Our quality of life is directly related to policy. None of these parties will address our humanity. No one party is interested in reconstruction. And he says also, with all due respect, family makeup isn't anyone's business.
And again, this is the same type of idea that's gotten us to where we are. One other group that I didn't mention in terms of the quote allies are the paternalists. These are the people who believe more big government, more social programs, more welfare programs are the key to ensuring people have a higher quality of life. And what I would argue is that a scenario where more black children are born to married parents with a mom and a dad who love one another and all their children would do far more for the social and economic outcomes of the black community than more government programs. And I can prove this actually with data. So with respect to median household income, the order from highest to lowest of the four major ethnic groups, Asian, white, Hispanic, black, follows the order of marriage rates. So Asian Americans, number one, and then whites, then Hispanics, then blacks. Asian American families are about $121,000 in terms of median household income. For black families, it's about $56,000. But for black married families, the median household income is about $110,000. And for married families under 65, it's actually right at the same mark for all Asian families, about $121,000. So what people attribute to bad government policy and oftentimes, racial discrimination is really a function of family inequality, because our family structures are not the same across all those groups.
There we go. So shout out to my man again, Delano Squires out there on C-SPAN answering someone's remark talking about the government are responsible for the well-being of the black community. The government can't do nothing. Listen, the government has done all of what they can do. The government, they largely created HBCUs after slavery to get black folks educated. They got so many government programs, so many benefits, so many this, so many that. There's so many resources available out there for all Americans, including black Americans, to use, that there's no more they can do. Now, what some may want is an infusion of cash in the bank account. That ain't going to happen. Forget about it. All of what they have done is all of what they're going to do. We got so much available at our fingertips. Listen, right here in this, you got so much you can learn, so much you can teach yourself without having to rely upon anyone. Just you as an individual can do that on your own. Relying on the government will never get you anywhere. Furthermore, it's dangerous to do that because the government can control you. If you are on government benefits, what happens when there's a new stipulation about how to get the government benefits? What are you going to do to fight back against it if you don't like it? Get off it, and you're going to be back at square one or even worse. Okay, so you're having a hard time, you're struggling, government assistance, and then when you want it, now I'm throwing a curveball. What do? You go back to probably worse than square one because you didn't develop on square one. You went straight to the assistance. So the government really is in the way of black progress. And quite frankly, it's in the way of our society going forward, which is why I always say we got to have minimal government, small government. The bigger the government gets, the more oppressive it gets. And then you're going to go right back to slavery. You're going past, you're regressing at that point. We're supposed to be going forward, not going backward. So again, shout out to Delano over there on C-SPAN. Very well said, sir. Now, back to the whole government shutdown thing. The Democrats put this up on their social media. Okay. It says, Kitty explains government shutdown. All right. You ready for some are you ready for some cringe? Because it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks if you're not. All right, let's go ahead.
Republican and Democrat kiddies cannot agree on what should be funded. Democrat kiddies want you to have health care. Republican kiddies do not. Republican kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires. Democrat kitty tries to negotiate, but Republican kitty keeps running away. He has a vacation to get to. Uh-oh, suddenly the money you pay for your health insurance has tripled. Thanks, Republicans. Republican and Democrat kiddies cannot agree on what should be funded.
Okay, so there we go. Now, the key thing here is that the Democrats want to put money into illegal aliens getting health care. So when they say they don't want you to get health care, well, only if you are here illegally does that apply. Okay. Furthermore, when we're talking about getting health care, what does that mean? Being able to pay for it? Because last I checked, some of these premiums from the so-called Affordable Health Care Act are totally unaffordable. I'm talking about totally and completely unaffordable. So that's the Democrats. So that's what they put out. That's their little video they put out. Now, this is going to be Speaker of the House Mike Johnson on Good Morning America with George Stephanopoulos, a former Clinton White House staffer. Let's go ahead and check it out.
It does, actually, because what it does is it unwinds the changes that Republicans put into the big, beautiful bill, the big signature legislation that we passed and signed into law on July 4th. That has been very successful in shoring up Medicaid for the people who are actually eligible to receive it. What we did in the bill, and the CBO just verified this 3 weeks ago, the Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan arbiters of everything up here, they said that those provisions have helped to reduce premiums. Why? Because we got ineligible recipients off of Medicaid, illegal aliens, and able-bodied young men who are riding the wagon who are not eligible to be there. Medicaid is intended for specific populations of U.S. citizens. That is young, pregnant women who are down on their luck, the disabled and the elderly. Those resources are being drained from those folks, and so we fixed that. We reduced fraud, waste, and abuse in the program. Chuck Schumer's counterproposal on the CR would reverse that. That is a simple fact. It does, actually. Because
all right, there we go. So, yeah, that's going to be the key. Like I said, the illegal aliens getting so-called health care, getting benefits from the taxpayer. That's going to be a problem. I don't see how that's ever going to be okay to be here illegally and then get benefits. Okay. Now, this is going to be Ro Khanna saying it. This is a Democrat saying it, admitting it, saying the not so quiet part a little bit louder than they're already saying it. All right, let me go ahead and throw it on the screen again. Ro Khanna, House Rep from California, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and throw it on the screen and check it out.
In terms of health care, the reality is they're just not being honest. The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion of the Medicaid cuts or the Affordable Care Act, if at all. And so we can argue that point, but the reality that even the vice president would acknowledge, that anyone who looks at the numbers will acknowledge, is 90 to 95% of the funding we're talking about is talking about funding for American citizens. In terms of health care, the reality is they're just not being honest. The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion of the Medicaid cuts or the Affordable Care Act.
So my question is, how much money is going to the illegal aliens? You want to say it's a small amount, but that's just your opinion. We're all entitled to our opinions. That's totally fine about what you think is enough or too much or not enough. That's your opinion. But just tell us how much it is. If you say something about $1 billion or more, then all right, don't even try to say that's a small amount of money. It shouldn't be any money going toward the illegal aliens. Because what you're saying is that it's okay to be here illegally. That's what you are. That's your message. It's all right to be here illegally. Totally fine. No problem. You see, and then who gets the bill for all this stuff? It's us, the taxpayer. It's us. How about reduce the tax burden on us so you won't have to be paying all these illegal aliens so much money? And let's go back a little bit. Let's go back because I remember, I think we covered the topic before. There was a congressional a House Republican study, and they said that we spend $450 billion with a B, $450 billion a year on illegal aliens. How much of that is going to be so-called healthcare? I'm just trying to figure it out. So I don't think we should spend any money on people here who are here illegally. And it most certainly shouldn't be $500 billion a year, every year. It shouldn't be that. Okay. Now, this is going to be MS-13 DNC talking about the government shutdown. Okay. MS-13 DNC. And it's always funny to kind of go back and watch these people because it's like, how did I ever watch this? How does anybody really sit there and watch this consistently? And I don't like how they all take my black frame glasses look. It makes me look like one of them, but I'm not.
I also just don't understand why we're blaming the Democrats for Republicans lying. At the highest level of office, they have the biggest megaphone. They have TV networks that repeat the lies and say things on those networks with no consequence. And the things they say are violent. Okay, so they're not only repeating the lies, but adding to this coarseness. Yeah. And there's no consequence to it. And we're blaming the Democrats? Yeah. We're blaming the Democrats for this.
Well,
what exactly are the Democrats supposed to do?
You keep repeating. They're supposed to fight back.
Yes.
They're supposed to know. They're supposed to do
what exactly?
No. Bill Clinton just completely abused and used Republicans in every government shutdown. I know, I was there. He was smart enough politically to do it. Barack Obama knew how to always get the best of Republicans. All right? We're not blaming Democrats for Republicans' lies. We're saying the Democrats at some point have to figure out how to answer those lies. And that's not whining. The whining comes from Democratic leaders that still don't have an answer to Republican lies 10 years into Donald Trump's terms.
Jen, how do we answer the lie?
Meanwhile, they're married, if you didn't know. Mika and Joe, they're married. Imagine having that talk with your wife on TV. You got to be something else. But anyway, listen, there is no more Bill Clinton. There is no more Barack Obama. Y'all don't have anybody on the left anymore, not on the big stage. Y'all don't have anybody. Joe Biden was pretty much deceased as president. Kamala Harris can't even really put two words together that make any sense without cackling or saying something silly. She's not cut out for this kind of role. Neither was Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton could do little, other things. I was watching a movie recently. What was I watching? With Keanu Reeves. Some alien movie. I love sci-fi. Anything sci-fi, aliens, dimensions, I'm into it. Like, sign me up. It's a new sci-fi something coming out in the theater. I don't care what it's called. I'm going. But I'm watching the movie from back then, and it had a woman that was like the president, but she was not the president. A defense secretary or something like this, right? But she was like the main point of contact throughout the movie. That's pretty much what Hillary Clinton would be. Some kind of secretary of state. But the president, no way. We saw her in the campaign trail, had to get Weekend at Bernie. And she's not even that old. Like, what? At that point, in her 60s, I believe, 70s, not even that old. And same thing with Kamala Harris. Voice cracking, looking crazy, drinking. They're not ready for this. They don't have anybody on that side that can do anything. So now it's our time. You can't fight back because we're in control and we fight back against y'all. We're winning the fight. You're trying to fight. Listen, Joe and Mika, you guys are trying to fight, but you're getting beat like you stole something. You're getting stomped into wine. Not literally. Don't nobody try to tell on me, because y'all love doing that on the left. But anyway, shout out to Joe and Mika. Can I show the meme with Hakeem Jeffries? I don't want anybody to get offended. Hey, shout out to all the Mexicans. Shout out to everybody that picked the panty. I love y'all. Great food, great people. Fantastic. Okay. Listen, I want to go to Mexico and enjoy myself without having no drama. So don't nobody get offended. All right. Now let's show the meme that Donald Trump put up, Hakeem Jeffries. And we know he is a speaker. Well, the House Minority Leader, I suppose, Hakeem Jeffries. All right. Throw it on the screen right here. And this is him responding to this right here is him talking about another meme that Trump put out that he considered to be racist, that was in the same type of theme. And the way Donald Trump responded was to double down and do it one more time.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault. It's a disgusting video.
So, yeah, he's a little upset. And you see the lower third, it says Trump posts racist AI video after White House meeting with Democrats. But nah, the mariachi band with Trump, hey, I love it. If I can get that outfit right there for like anything, Halloween, whatever, a convention, I'm wearing it. I'm wearing a sombrero, the big mustache. I want to learn to play an instrument just for that. Matter of fact, hey, maybe when I get to be a little bit older, that could be a side mission. I want to train to be part of a mariachi band. Okay, that's what I want to do. That'd be fun. Shout out to the mariachi band. Shout out to Hakeem Jeffries. Shout out to President Trump posting that meme. And shout out to everybody who has thick skin and can take a joke and is not getting offended. All right, don't nobody get offended out there. It is all good. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, Hakeem Jeffries should worry less about memes and more about his district. Isn't he in New York? Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing here. Okay, Hakeem Jeffries, he is born in Crown Heights, New York. His district, where's his district? That's going to be 57th district. Well, that's a state assembly. But y'all know he's a House rep. Okay, New York's 8th district. That's going to be Brooklyn. All right, that's going to be Brooklyn. Now, right next door in the Bronx, you got stuff collapsing. Now, here's what I want to know. Do you guys think that you're going to have more collapses or fewer collapses of buildings, infrastructure, and whatnot under Zohran Mamdani? Because he's coming. Listen, Zohran is coming. If you're living in New York, just say a prayer. Say a few prayers because it's going to be rough out there. It really is. But let's watch some of this, shall we? Let's get some sound here. And I think they had a dog going through the rubble, but I don't think anybody got injured. What happened was there was an incinerator shaft on the building that had crumbled and just fell to the ground.
Share this with you. Our Fox 5 cameras, WNYW, is aboard a brick building in the Bronx. It's 20 stories tall, and a good portion of it has collapsed. It's a city-owned public building. Don't know how many people live there. The reports early on is that there's no injuries. Really, really great news, but a big old pile of bricks on the ground. This is just north of the island of Manhattan, if you're looking at it on a map, and about less than 2 miles from Yankee Stadium. Share this with you.
So you can see exactly where it collapsed. See that piece right there? It's supposed to, that right there is supposed to be brick and flush, like right 90 degree. It shouldn't be this hole right here. All of that was, they said, an incinerator shaft that collapsed and fell. Now, hopefully they were not using the incinerator shaft actively, because talking about carcinogens coming from there all day long. So maybe it had to go ahead and collapse, but I don't think they wanted to collapse that way. And again, nobody was hurt from that because nobody was living in that. It's an old incinerator shaft. Okay, who owns it? See, I know what that question is, but I don't know. You got a lot of old stuff in New York, a lot of old infrastructure. They got everything is old. The tunnel was like the Holland Tunnel. They got the train they're coming through this, like all of that is really old and needs to get upgraded immediately. Yeah. Say it looks exploded. I mean, not really, because it's like you could tell exactly where it fell. It's a pretty even line. And if they had explosives, I mean, there was some pinpoint explosives to not damage the adjacent structure. It just kind of collapsed in that piece. Again, it's out there in Bronx, New York City. Do you think we're going to have more of that under Zohran Mamdani, or are we going to have fewer of those incidents? Now, speaking about Mamdani, he has a free bus program. Okay. Now, how much do you guys think the free bus program will cost? And I don't know all the details of the bus program, like where they're going to go. And is it just Manhattan? Like what's going on? But he is announcing a free bus program, or he is talking about it. How much do you guys think that will cost? All right, let's hear him say it, because, hey, don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Let's hear from the man himself.
People who ask me questions about, is it possible to make buses fast and free? I say the cost would be about $600-700 million, which is less than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk 1 year in tax breaks of $959 million. Showing people the context that we're in and building a coalition where they may not see themselves in me, perhaps, but they may see themselves in the best and the brightest that I'll hire to surround me in City Hall.
The other side of that coin,
he just kind of like zoomed past that. He zoomed past it like it was nothing. It cost $600 million, but yeah, it's like, wait a minute, hold on, boss. You're just going to zoom past that? We're not going to talk about that amount of money, $700 million. And a lot of times when these politicos, when they cite numbers as far as how much a thing will cost, it always ends up costing more. So that $700 million can easily become $1.2 billion. And here's something else that I am asking. what would the money be spent on? The drivers, the maintenance of the buses, to have police on these buses? Because what you don't want is for these free buses to become roaming homeless shelters, because what's going to prevent all the crackheads, all the guys who refuse to wash their hind parts, who just do whatever they want to do with their bodily fluids, what's going to prevent them from getting on the bus and just staying there? So that's my question. That'll be what I ask Zohran Mamdani, aside from the cost. That's just one piece. What about the buses in actual everyday use? That'll be my question. And you know what? I shout out to everybody that wants to vote for Curtis Lewa and everybody. I respect that, but I think this needs to happen. Let him get in there and let the people see for themselves. Because look, we can preach till we blue in the face about electing this man. He's not the right guy for the job. It's going to be some problems, but they're not going to understand until something happens. It's like police enforcement. You could say something is illegal, but until it gets enforced, people don't get it. It don't make no sense. When you see somebody get football numbers in the penitentiary for committing the crime, now it makes sense. Or I can't do that because it's going to be a penalty. If you think there's no penalty, what's preventing you from doing it? Okay, now this is going to be Zohran again, talking about emptying out the jails. All right, so you're going to have more crime on the streets. Hey, Rudy Giuliani is not coming through that door. Rudy Giuliani is not coming through that door. What are you going to do after Mamdani destroys New York City? Anyway, before I keep on going, let's let him talk.
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
So look, if I kick in your house, take whatever you got in there, if you're not home, it's not really a violent crime. It's just I just burgled you a little bit. I booted your door down. Boom. I went in your house, did what I wanted to do, but maybe you weren't home, so it's okay. It's not really a violent crime. Let them on out of the penitentiary. All right. Someone who's going to boot a door down should go to prison. If you boot my front door down and don't get locked up, then what's to prevent them from doing it again? See, a guy like that and his ilk don't understand human beings at all. Or maybe they do, but they're here for a different purpose, which is to cause chaos. Now, this is an older video of him, and this would be, after this, I keep on moving to the next thing. But this kind of sums up his mentality. This sums it up right here. Watch.
I worked until January, and then I took time away from my job. And one of the major reasons I could do so was because I knew that if I ran out of my savings, my family would be able to support me. Yeah,
so it's all good. Listen, I mean, I'm just a rich New York kid. I'm a trust fund baby. And now I want to play mayor. That's what he is. And that's the funniest part about it, because a lot of the people who support Mamdani say that he is going to go against the rich. What you mean, himself? He's going to go against himself and his mom and his dad, his Hollywood producer mom who put him in the movie. He's going to go against them. You out of your mind. You out of your mind. But it's always like that. It's always some actor, a rich actor, which is what he is, coming in to persuade people and do so by lying. Okay, we got a street interview about Zohran out there, I believe, in New York. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Voting for Zohran, you are?
Yeah.
Can I get your signature for support?
Sure.
Okay, wait, I'm required by law. I just have to read you like 3 of these policies. You're cool to elect a mayor who won't condemn Sharia law?
Yep.
Sharia law. I'm asking you.
I'm running.
Okay, cool.
I don't know about that. But,
Oh, you don't?
Well, what is this?
It's just like a lot of his policy positions and stuff. You have to recognize the DSA's Bill of Rights, socialism, so we'd replace the Bill of Rights with You can read all this. This is out there. You still want to do it or no? Oh, he's going to tax white people higher. It's on his website first.
I just don't think that this is exactly his policies.
You can look all of it up. No, this is literally the first thing on his website about taxing whiter neighborhoods.
It doesn't say whiter.
No, it literally says whiter neighborhoods. Okay.
I don't know what's going on here.
Wait, so you voted for him in the primary, but you didn't know about that? Okay. Voting for Zohran?
So look, the guy telling her his policies, things that are on his website, he's suspicious. He's the bad guy. Oh, I don't know about this. I don't know. Nah, what you mean? All the man is doing is just telling you what he has said, things that he's put on his own website. So what's the problem? This ain't no gotcha. This ain't nothing. This is just reality. He literally said we're gonna tax whiter neighborhoods, not wider, not WIDER, WHITER, whiter neighborhoods. He said that. Said it on TV, put it on his website. But that goes back to our main man, Yuri Bezmenov. Hey, listen, to all the new people especially, if you have not listened to Yuri Bezmenov, the video is easy to find on YouTube. Matter of fact, I'm going to re-upload it. I got it on my Instagram, but it's old. I'm going to re-upload it for you guys who have not seen it. If you have not seen Yuri Bezmenov's talk about communism and how it's going to infiltrate the USA and how we get demoralized, if you have not seen that, you got to watch it because this ties into it. One thing that Yuri Bezmenov said was, if you show a demoralized person evidence, pictures, video, if you take them to the place where an atrocity happened and show them, they're not going to believe it because they've already been demoralized in their mind. And that is exactly what you saw right there. That was a prime example of it. So shout out to you guys who are not demoralized and you understand what's going on and you're open to receiving new information. If I show you something you've not seen before and I'm able to prove it, then you're open to receiving that. But a lot of people are simply closed off because they've been demoralized. Okay, let's watch some of this. Okay, now, this is funny because there's a heading here. Far left activists can't explain the importance of borders. And you see his scarf. So you already know what time it is. But let's watch it.
Is it illegal to cross the border of a country?
Borders shouldn't exist, bud.
The entire world should open up their borders.
We live in a f***ing planet. We don't live in a f***ing, like...
When you say borders shouldn't exist, are you trying to say that we shouldn't keep track of who's coming in and who's going out?
Yo, countries can f***ing exist without borders that make it illegal to live there.
What do you think the point of a border is? Why do you think we have them to begin with?
You sound like an annoying Charlie Kirk.
All right, let's not personally attack each other. He asked you a good question.
Wait. I have to talk to this guy.
Okay, I'll ask the question then. What would the purpose of a border be other than to protect the people in society?
Loki, I don't f*** with you, so I'm gonna go.
Okay.
So bye.
All right. Is it illegal to cross?
There we go. So, I mean, what is in his mind aside from social media, reels, clickbait, doom scrolling, and whatever he hears at school, probably from a left-wing professor that told him to put that scarf on right there. And the company he keeps, you're out here at this kind of protest place with people that's just the same as you, or people who are influencing you to behave a certain kind of way. What I would say to the young man is get away from those people, okay? Get away from them, because going that direction, you got maybe 2 or 3 routes you can go. The first route is you could stay out there in the street and just smoke crack all day and be one of them Portland people. You could be like that. Or you could try to become part of academia and poison other people, okay? Or you could become LGBT, maybe see how that works out for you, and that'd be that. All right? So if that's not what you're looking for, and if you want to do that, knock yourself out. But if that's not what you want to do, I suggest going a different direction. But yeah, shout out to him for at least talking for a little while, because sometimes they don't want to talk at all. They just kind of want to go do whatever they want to do. Now, listen, Ilhan Omar out there in, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We know about Ilhan Omar. We know about her mentality. I hate playing her. I hate showing videos of her. This ain't going to be her. This is going to be a Minnesota Muslim exposing Ilhan Omar and the things that she supports that they don't support as East African Muslims, etc. All right. Throw it on the screen right here and let's let it rock. There we go.
What do Muslims here in Minnesota think about Ilhan Omar?
Okay, so you got to understand, this is somebody that uses Islam for a sort of political gain, you know? She advertises as a Muslim, you know, as a Muslim person that's helping the Muslim people in the community that she's representing. But we also see her upholding different views that are in conflict with core Islamic beliefs. Personally, and much of the community here would have that same agreement here.
What is she saying that you guys don't agree with?
Okay, first of all, when it comes to like LGBTQ people, we as Muslims don't believe any other person that's not any other person, no matter what they practice, should be held to a lower standard, should be given less respect. But in Islam, there's permissibility and there's not. We gotta keep in mind, you are not allowed to do certain acts, such as same-sex marriage, which she's in support for. You know, you gotta understand, same-sex marriage is incompatible with Islam. No matter how much you twist it, no matter how much you can beautify it, in every way, the final word was sent from God, and that outweighs whatever political opinion that you may have, whatever bias that you may have.
And she justifies same-sex marriage.
That's a big sense of disagreement that we have.
There you go. Because Ilhan Omar, at this point, wears all that head garb stuff as a fashion statement. I'm seeing what she wears. I'm seeing her outfits, and I'm seeing a bunch of money being spent on it. That's all just fashion. It's not really significant when you're talking about her faith. Because the faith is whatever she needs to say to make money. Her faith is the almighty dollar. Her faith is the Democratic Party. Ain't no more Muslim, none of that. That can just kind of get pushed to the side. Because where's your faith at when you get married to your brother for the purpose of defrauding the government? Okay, like, where's the faith at right there? Where's your faith at when you get divorced from your husband who you were married to religiously to get married to the white man to defraud some more cash from the USA? Because you got married to your top guy. What was he, a consultant? 70%, I read, 70% of Ilhan Omar's campaign money goes to the consultant, Tim Minette, who she's married to. So that's a legal way for her to siphon money from her campaign to fund her glamorous lifestyle with all these luxurious Islamic garbs that are just for fashion only, and they don't represent her faith at all. Because how are you going to be for LGBT stuff and same-sex marriage while at the same time being a devout Muslim? It don't work like that. So yeah, shout out to him for telling the truth about their faith. Listen, I don't judge anyone for their faith. Practice what you want to practice, but don't say I'm this and hide behind that, but you're not that. My thing is just tell the truth about whatever's going on. Whatever is happening, just tell the truth. And you can live in your truth. Now, the problem comes with people live. The problem comes if you live in your truth when you think you are a dinosaur and you make me say your pronouns are T-Rex. I'm not going to do that, okay? You're not a pit bull puppy and your pronouns are not ruff. It's just not what it is. You can have that opinion about yourself, but I'm not going to sit there and participate in your delusion. Hey, man, feel free to have any thought you want, but I'm not going to play along. I see some 6'5" Tom Brady looking dude in my face. I'm not going to call you she. It's just, I see a full grown man in front of me. It's ma'am. Actually, not really. Not really. Now, we got to show the illegal alien superintendent. There is so much more. I did my video about him, but there's more that I didn't talk about. Okay.
Democrat.
Let's just watch some of this. Again, this is going to be Ian Roberts, an illegal alien from Guyana, South America, in between Venezuela and I want to say, what's that? Suriname right there. It's right on the northeast coast of South America, north of Brazil. Let's see what is happening right here. Then we got to get into his work history. Oh, there's a long work history, and there appears to be quite a fraud happening here as well. Let's watch.
Democrats just found a new Maryland dad. He's a superintendent from Iowa, actually. Guyana. Ian Roberts. He's been here since 1999, and he's got a criminal record. Even Biden tried to deport him, but wasn't able to pull it off without Homan. He's a former track star, but he couldn't outrun the canines. Once he saw the agents coming, he took off and tried hiding in a bush. ICE found him and his car filled with $3,000 in cash, a loaded gun, and a hunting knife. Bad hombre, right? Wrong. Michelle Obama's former chief of staff is the chair of the school board, and she's running for Senate, and she's riding with Roberts.
Pause. Michelle Obama's former chief of staff is the one responsible for bringing this guy on. Okay? She is responsible for this guy. What a coincidence.
It seems fitting to take a page out of Dr. Roberts' book and ask the community to engage in radical empathy as we work through this situation together.
Roberts made $300,000 a year. The board voted to suspend the illegal with pay. But then once everybody found out about the story, they yanked his six-figure salary. And sorry about that, Ian. Roberts has been working in schools across the country for decades. Before Iowa, he was superintendent in Pennsylvania, where his district was sued for nearly $500,000. Roberts was accused of sex discrimination, promoting unqualified women over men. We call that DEI. How is an illegal with a record working in a school? Who's vetting these people? We don't know. We're just happy he got iced.
So look, now again, about Ian Roberts. He came here on an F1 student visa in 1999. 1999. Some of y'all weren't even born when he came here to the country. Legally on the F1 student visa, he went to St. John's out there in New York. Throughout the years, I don't know what happens, if he has work authorization, if he's here illegally, if there's spotty periods, I don't know. But in 2020, his work authorization card had expired. Now, also in 2020, he catches a gun charge. If you're here illegally, it is a federal offense to own a weapon. I don't know what happened. Apparently, he didn't go to prison. Now, listen, if I break a federal gun law, I'm going to prison. If you, as a regular American citizen, break a federal gun law, that's an easy one-way trip to the penitentiary, making big rocks to little. Listen, you can't, a federal gun law, you going to prison, period. It's going to be very hard for you to beat that. So in 2020, he catches a gun charge. In 2024, he's marked for deportation. He given the final order by a judge in 2024. This is after he became superintendent out there in Iowa, and this is during the Biden administration, so they can't say Orange Man bad. The Biden administration said, yeah, get him up out of here. So like I said, 2025 come, yo, you on the list, bro, come on. You got to go. You got a gun charge, whatever. Now, ICE is approaching them in a school vehicle. I promise, I'm not making this up. He's driving a school vehicle. As they approach him, he flees in the car. He runs. He flees. This is the car, just leaves this. He leaves the school vehicle abandoned, runs away into the woods. They catch him, arrest him, book him. In the car, he has another gun loaded, a Glock 9mm loaded, a hunting knife, and $3,000 in cash. Bro, not one but two gun charges. You have to go to prison for that because, again, if it's me or any of us, the first one would have been a prison sentence right there. Like I said, we were told when I was 14 years old in high school that you can be charged as an adult at age 14, and if you have a gun illegally, that's 5 years mandatory minimum. But he gets no jail time, no nothing. He gets people that want to be sympathetic, talking about, oh, we got radical empathy. What? Man, please. Now, let's go into his employment history here. This is going to be local news out there in, not Utah, pardon me, Iowa.
KCCI has been working for the last 3 days to establish a timeline of where and when Roberts was employed, where he went to school, and earned his degrees.
KCCI's Bo Bowman has been reaching out to every known workplace and learning institution Roberts has on his resume. He joins us with what he's discovered. Bo.
Yeah, Ben, Stacy, one thing to note, many of the school districts and universities I reached out to, they're not able to share a whole lot of information because it's a personnel matter or it's protected by FERPA. They're just able to tell me when Roberts was there and what his job title was.
Roberts was a 1998 graduate from Coppin State University in Baltimore, Maryland, confirmed to KCCI by the school on Monday through a statement from the university president, where he said Roberts was, quote, a standout scholar and athlete during his undergraduate studies. St. John's University said over the next 2 years, Roberts worked toward and earned his master's degree in social studies. Roberts was first hired in 2001 to teach at Baltimore City Public Schools. The district tells us he was a teacher for 5 years, a resident principal for 1 year, and a principal for 2 years.
Now, the Baltimore school, I looked it up. That school has closed. I'm talking about it's not around anymore. It closed, I think, in 2015. And it wasn't a good school. It was like, you know, mostly all black hood school. Kids couldn't read. It was that kind of spot. I'm not saying that's his fault, but that's just what it was.
During that time, Roberts also attended Morgan State University in Baltimore from fall 2002 until spring 2007. The school tells KCCI he was pursuing his doctorate degree, but did not receive one. Roberts then spent...
Pause. Now, he did not receive his doctorate degree from Morgan State out there in Maryland. Now, he would say later on his resumes and whatnot that he was a doctor, but what he was using was an honorable doctorate title to say that he was a doctor, that he did get his doctorate. No, you don't. You don't have a doctorate. You have an honorary doctorate. They give them the Ludacris and P.D. Pablo. Hey, I can get an honorary doctorate. So what wound up happening was once he was hired at a job where he said he had a doctorate, he did his dissertation later. So he gets hired in 2020 at a job where they thought he had a doctorate. In 2021, he did dissertation. Okay, and then he got his doctorate finally from an online university rather than Morgan State, where he said he got it from at first. A liar, a scammer.
Spent time working in the District of Columbia Public Schools, St. Louis Public Schools, a school district in Oakland, California, and served as a superintendent at Mill Creek Township School District in Erie, Pennsylvania. That district sent KCCI a statement just before 5 o'clock Monday, stating they received all required clearances while hiring Roberts, including an FBI background check and an I-9 form. The district says they never received any information regarding the expiration of Roberts' work authorization. Roberts left Mill Creek to take the job in Des Moines. In the press release where Des Moines Public Schools first announced Roberts' hiring in 2023, the district said Roberts earned his doctorate degree from Trident University, a private, for-profit online university. KCCI reached out to Trident to confirm his degree, but we have not yet heard back.
In and out of our classrooms.
Hey, and hold on, let's go back. The suits, the glasses. This is like very Jamal Bryant-esque. And you know what? You know what's funny? What's going to be funny is when somebody finds him at Jamal Bryant's church back in Baltimore. I know for certain he went to that church because they dressed the same. And it's always like this. Like, whenever I see black dude looking like me and these kind of, you know, flashy suits, super fashionable, I feel like he was a scammer. Fancy glasses, pretty hair, all of that. It's like it gives off scammer vibes off the rip. So whenever I see a preacher, a teacher, anybody that's dressed a little bit too flashy, a male like this, scammer. Something's wrong. You're overcompensating for your lack of education. You're not really qualified for these jobs. So you put a lot into personality and how you appear. People love you. They appreciate being around you, but you're not actually qualified to do your job.
Online university. KCCI reached out to Trident to confirm his degree, but we have not yet heard back.
And I read that at one of his jobs, he would get evaluations, and the evaluation will always be basically meets expectations, but doesn't really exceed it. It's like getting the C. But the guy that replaced him with was getting excellent. You see what I'm saying? You're mediocre at your job and you're here illegally. You are a scammer. That's just the bottom line of what's going on. So, hey, I hope he gets deported ASAP and we can move forward. Speaking about scammers, have you seen this guy, Ta-Nehisi Coates? Remember him? He was the guy talking about reparations for a while back in the day. He's still around, and they still roll him out eventually. Occasionally, they roll him out. I don't really know why they roll him out. Well, I do know why they roll him out. They rolled this man, again, Ta-Nehisi Coates, out because he speaks to a lot of the left, a lot of your white liberal leftists who like his kind of talk. They put him up on the stage as a guy who came from Baltimore and he's successful now. They use him as a mascot for whatever they want to put out. That's what I think he does. But let's watch this.
I don't take any joy in saying this, but we sometimes soothe ourselves by pointing out that love, acceptance, warmth, that these are powerful forces. I believe they are. I also believe hate is a powerful force. I believe it's a powerful unifying force. And I think Charlie Kirk was a hate monger. I really need to say this over and over again. I have a politic that rejects violence, that rejects political violence. I take no joy in the killing of anyone, no matter what they said. But if you ask me what the truth of his life was, and the truth of his public life, I would have to tell you it's hate. I would tell you I'd have to tell you it is the usage of hate and the harnessing of hate towards political ends. I don't take any joy in saying this.
Okay, so there we go. Again, that is Ta-Nehisi Coates. Y'all probably don't know who that is for real. He was popular many years ago because reparations, that was his main thing that he would always push. But there was never anything that came of it, because it never is. You get on TV and just talk, and then that's, listen, what hate though? Just because you might be offended, just because you don't like the questions he was asking, does not mean that he pushed hate. He was all about trying to bridge the gap, to bring people together. If you think Charlie was full of hate, you've not really seen hate. You've not really seen that what you speak of. You're talking about a guy who was the complete opposite of hate. He was not a hater. He was doing his best to lift everybody up by giving them proper information and proper education. Guys like you, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and others fill the minds of the youth with bad information, wrong information. So you want to try to combat what Charlie's message is by saying it's full of hate. You activate the chip in the minds of those who you have brainwashed to just ignore him when you say hate. It reminds me of back in the day when I was told Rush Limbaugh was racist. It's the same thing. All the obes it is. Oh, you're racist. You're sexist. You're this and that and the third. All these things are meant to be deterrents from you being able to get the truth. When I was told Rush Limbaugh was racist, I was like, you know what? I ain't going to listen. Until I said, you know what? I don't have to do what someone wants me to do when it comes to listening to whatever. So when I finally heard him from myself, I'm like, you know what? I was told the wrong thing. And I think it'd be the same way when people actually watch Charlie Kirk and what he was about. I was told the wrong thing. I was told he was racist, but I agree with everything he said. I saw one clip where I saw a bunch of clips from the community. One black dude, he had a clip and he said it was a caption. You know, one of them videos you just sit there and kind of look at the camera. Anyway, the caption was, they said Charlie Kirk was racist, but I watched hours of his content only to discover 2 times where I disagreed. And when I did, it was because my opinion was more extreme than his. And that was a black guy saying that. And I think that's going to be the majority of people who watch his content. They're going to realize that it was not hateful. It was not racist. And many times we as black folks have more extreme views than he did. So make it make sense. Make it make sense. Now, what he was a champion of is free speech. And people get free speech messed up. The idea behind free speech is we all have the ability to express ourselves without the government getting in the way. That's the key. Without the government getting in the way. Some are going to say that free speech was curtailed when you're talking about Jimmy Kimmel, but it's not the case because you have an FCC license and you must do certain things to uphold that license. And if you don't want to do that, then don't have the FCC license. Okay, simple as that. That's not a matter of free speech. It's a matter of adherence to your licensing agreement that you don't have to sign. You don't have to sign it. But if you do, now you got to follow some rules. And on top of that, the issue with Jimmy Kimmel is the people were calling like, yo, what I don't like what he said. I find it offensive. That's why he was pulled temporarily. He was not fired. He was never going to be fired unless he didn't want to play ball with his own company. If your company says, hey, you know what? We're getting complaints from your viewers about your content. And if you don't fix it, it's going to be a problem. What are you going to do? I don't care about my viewers. If they start watching, so what? If your viewers start watching, you're going to just lose money. And they're not there for that. They have the right to tell you to tighten up, do something else, or you're going to not have a job anymore. They have the right to do that. They can cancel your show at any time. They can fire you at any time for any reason. And I think a good reason to fire someone would be if they're underperforming. Now, this is going to be about free speech in the EU.
Free speech.
Because over here, we're clinging on to free speech, but over there, it's not really a thing like the way it is over here. We take what we have for granted sometimes in the USA. God bless America, I tell you what, but let's watch this.
Free speech isn't a free fall in Europe. There are two anti-free speech movements that have coalesced. Mm-hmm. One is in Europe, where it has laid waste to free speech. Germany, France, England. Free speech has been eviscerated. And also places like Canada. The U.S. anti-free speech movement began in higher education, then metastasized throughout the government. But this has all reached our shores now. The Berlin World Forum followed the remarks of Vice President Vance on free speech, and the EU was red hot. They gathered in Berlin, and it was the most anti-free speech gathering I've ever been part of. There's only two of us from the free speech community. And they are committed. And, you know, Hillary Clinton was there, and she really fueled the anger. I mean, she, when Twitter was purchased by Elon Musk, she called on the EU to use the infamous Digital Services Act, which is one of the most anti-free speech pieces of legislation in decades. And she called upon the EU to use the DSA to force the censorship of American citizens, force people like Musk to censor. It's an extraordinary act by someone who was once a presidential candidate in the United States. But they are committed to it. And after the World Forum, they further globalized this effort, and they are threatening companies like X with ruinous fines unless they resume censoring American citizens.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Shout out to Elon Musk for purchasing Twitter X, because that was a really big step forward for free speech. I mean, huge. Twitter is fantastic. It's like a newspaper, and you could just put the stuff out there. And I think sometimes that could be a double-edged sword, because some may blame Twitter for the Charlie Kirk video circulating, and really, that's a video that people probably shouldn't watch. I was watching, I saw a video about a former sniper saying that people really shouldn't watch that. No, regular normies should not have seen that, because that was way too graphic. But at the same time, sometimes you see things you may not want to see in a platform that's open. Okay, it's a thin line sometimes between censorship of things to prevent a narrative from being crafted that's undesirable to the government, and protecting people from things they probably shouldn't see. And then how do you really determine what someone should and should not see? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But hey, let's keep rocking and rolling here. This is going to be UK Minister Keir Starmer. Now, Keir Starmer is a guy talking about the digital ID and everything else to prevent the migrants from working in the UK. Now, if you ask me, like I said before, the migrant crisis is a problem in UK and the USA, but UK, Europe, all over, it's a problem. but it is a manufactured crisis because they want the migrants to come in. If they didn't want them, they wouldn't be there. They want them to come in because of the low birth rate. They got in Europe, you're talking about 1.1, 1.2. It's getting bad over there. So they want the migrants because of that. Now, in the process, Europe is going to be destroyed. Europe going to be Afghanistan pretty soon because if there's no more Europeans, there ain't no more Europe. As simple as that. Now, the Afghans may appreciate their way of life, and that's fine. But what's the point of coming to UK to make that be the same as what you left? It's the same thing as the Californians coming to Tennessee, coming to Florida, coming to anywhere, coming to Arizona, Nevada, Las Vegas. If you left California because you had problems, because the way of living wasn't the way you wanted, it was too expensive, then why would you vote the exact same way that you did when you were in California? Why would you behave the exact same way you did in California? You should change something up if you want a different result. Same thing with the Afghans over in Europe. If you're going to go to United Kingdom, behaving the same way you did over there, you're going to get the same thing you had over there. So what's the point? You might stay where you at. You might as well just stay put. Okay, now again, here's Keir Starmer talking about the reason why the migrants are coming, okay? Listen to this. Now, UK, I guess you guys do not have access to a lot of information. I don't know what's going on. I don't, maybe I'm ignorant. I don't know what's happening because this right here, this is going to be a laughable statement. Let's watch.
I think we need to look at every aspect of illegal migration, upstream, looking at the causes, which of course are often poverty, climate change, persecution. Look at the causes. I think
climate change, bro, stop. Please stop. The reason why they're coming is because you guys allow them to in Europe. That's the bottom line. Because there's always been prosperity. There's always been a Europe that was desirable for migrants to come to. Nothing like what's happening right now. And the reason why it's so different right now is because you guys are encouraging it because of the low birth rate. I'm seeing towns in Italy for sale because population is so old and people are leaving Italy for greener pastures, and they've been leaving for a long time. Okay, a lot of the Italians, like a lot of the Ellis Island people, that was what, in the 40s? So they've been leaving Europe. There's wars happening over in the East. So there's a problem, and they're bringing in the migrants. You want to blame climate change, and then you want to say that the digital ID will help because you want to push the green energy scam and the digital ID scam. Now, let's see what a digital ID does. This is going to be over there in China, okay? Let's explain what's really happening here because it's pretty deep, okay? It gets deep. And China, it's already happened. They are a good or bad example of what can become in the future.
If you go to China, they're piloting it a few years ago in Shenzhen. So I lived overseas. If you go to Shenzhen, back in 2017, they already had facial recognition cameras there. So if you jaywalked in Shenzhen, they would immediately detect that and send you a notification, and they would deduct money from your what they call WeChat account. They use two main apps, WeChat and Alipay. So you can actually deduct your money directly from your account. This is 4 years ago, so this is not like some sort of conspiracy theory. It's not something that's going to happen 10 years into the future. This happened pre-corona in China. And so this system in China that exists is extremely advanced. They can detect if it's a man or a woman. They can guess your age. They can detect what kind of car model it is, who the manufacturer is. This is a sort of technology that we see in all these dystopian sort of films and whatever. And people keep putting it off and thinking that this is something that's going to happen later in my kid's lifetime or my grandkids. It's already here. And if this gets implemented anywhere, especially in a Western nation, it's not going away. Israel is already talking about the fourth shot. Then they're going to be going to herpes, and they're going to ask if you're gay. They're going to be asking if you ate 3 pizzas this week because it's unhealthy. If you buy certain books from certain countries, your country doesn't like you. You'll lose points in the social credit score system. So this is already the reality of the world in certain places, and we need to be aware of that if we don't want that or if we do. And to be perfectly honest, anybody who wants this vaccine passport, it's a misnomer. It's total control. Everything you do or don't do will be calculated to the point where if they can detect your GPS signal. If you have a phone on you, they can detect who you're hanging out with. Oh, you're hanging out with somebody that said something bad 9 years ago on Weibo. Okay, like a Chinese equivalent to Facebook or something like that, right? Oh, you lose 2 points. Oh, you bought Japanese books. You lose 5 points because you don't like Japan. This is what is going to come here because it's already there.
And we're doing that a little bit with contact tracing for COVID, aren't we? So that they can see where you're at and who you're with.
The simple reality is that the technology that CSIS has and all these big tech corporations, they already know where you are. It's just that they don't want to shock the system too much and admit that they have it. Edward Snowden revealed all this back in 2013. He fled to Hong Kong. They wouldn't keep him there, so now he's in Russia. Yeah. But the NSA has all of your information. They know your Google searches from like February 9th, 2004 in a bunker in Colorado.
Help me, Rhonda.
Right?
Exactly. See, that right there is what's happening behind the scenes. They'll tell us they have some technology, but they're not going to tell us everything. The things they have access to, won't even know about. So that's why I said earlier about my DNA test. It's like, I ain't worried about that. Whatever they want, they already have. So what can I really do? I don't even know what they have technology-wise to spy on me or get my information. And the whole thing with the vaccine passport, anything that goes in your phone in general can be tracked. They can already track your phone now. I'll tell you a quick story. A friend of mine was on the run from the police. And he wound up getting caught. He went to prison. And he coming from prison and he was like, yeah, man, things were crazy. You know, when I was on the run, is that in the third? I was like, I don't know if I asked him, but I was like, how did they get you? He told me, he was like, well, what they did was they just, now, matter of fact, I'm going to tell you what happened. He didn't tell me how they got him. I read it. It was in a newspaper. What they did was they pinged his phone and then they found him several states away. Okay. We from Virginia, but they found him in a different state by pinging his phone. And that was a long time ago. That was like 2008, 2010, something like this. This is many years ago. So they already know where you at. They already know everything about you. There's nothing you could really hide. I mean, you could hide certain things, I suppose, but most things they already got. They already got it. And the technology they have, you don't know about. The things that we use, the AI and whatnot, is like toys compared to what they actually use every day. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, we got to show Kamala. And this right here, these kind of videos explain why many, especially heterosexual black men, do not want to be linked to the Democratic Party. Because where do we fit in to what they want to do? They want guys like this. You already know what's going on. A Cisco blonde hair with bracelets. You already know what's happening with him. They don't want a guy like me or you guys out there to be the focus. They want to focus on them. They feel like they are superior to us and the migrants. If you're not LGBT or a migrant, they don't care nothing about you. But let's watch.
You know that there's a new phrase. When they go low, you go to hell. You know what I mean? Like you can go way lower. And you just wouldn't, that was not your jam.
No, I mean, there's another one. F.A.
FAFO?
Yeah.
Hey.
F.O.
Hey. Hey. You know, I know. You know that there's a.
See what I'm saying? Like, I can do nothing with that. Hey, I can do nothing with that. Okay? We don't like this. The messaging is bad. The policies are bad. Everything is bad. And then my question is, first of all, why do you have a singular piece of pizza on the plate that's totally clean? Like, what is this scene? It's just, nothing about this feels authentic. It's not authentic. It's not relatable. And then they wonder why they can't get anywhere when it comes to general elections without cheating. Without cheating. That's all they can do is cheat and lie and steal to succeed. They can't do anything organically because good is not on their side. Evil's on their side. So they got to go through a lot to try and make things happen. Good is not on their side. So they got to do a lot to make things happen. So yeah, shout out to that dude. Hey, it couldn't be me. I couldn't be that guy in that role doing that for them over there. I would not feel good about myself if they had to do that. Okay. What is that? Hey, I have no idea what's going on. And my question is, what do you mean FAFO? You think because you weren't the president that now is some kind of bad thing? I think if she were the president, man, I don't even know. It would be real bad right now. It'd be real bad. Joe Biden was bad, but this would be even worse. All right. Now, one thing I always wonder is how people can record themselves having the meltdown. Because I feel like if you have a meltdown, it's like something just kind of happens spontaneously. You're not going to just be like, and then, set the camera in front of your face, mid-scream or mid-crying. Like, who does that? Okay, but we got somebody who says she's having a panic attack. Now, before I get into it, I hope that she's okay, but how bad could the attack have been if you were able to film yourself while it's going on? Probably not that bad, but let's watch.
I'm sorry. I had to stop my car because I'm having a panic attack. Donald Trump, in his speech, just declared war on America. What is happening? What is happening? I'm in the middle of a panic attack. That's all I have to say.
Okay, first of all, I don't think that was a panic attack. I think you're okay. Okay, so it's all good. Don't worry about it. You're not going to have to go to the hospital. But attack on America, or did Trump say that he's going to defend America from the people who wish to do America harm? Threats both foreign and domestic. We got some crazy people out there domestically that want to do harm. Portland, Oregon is a prime example. Okay, people have been killed, people have been injured, people have been ruined by these people over there. So why would that be a bad thing to defend U.S. citizens from all threats, both foreign and domestic? Why is that a bad thing? Why is that giving you a so-called panic attack? And again, I don't think you had a panic attack. All right, at best, maybe you're out of breath from talking a lot on your cell phone. But you'll be okay. I promise you will. So, yeah, shout out to her. A snack attack is funny. Hey, a snack attack is funny. Yeah, that might be it right there. Hey, you better go straight to Dunkin' Donuts, and that light better be on. Oh, Krispy Kreme. That light better be on. And you know what? I'm making myself hungry. I've not had any glazed donuts in a long time. If I go outside in my car tonight, and I see that light on, I'm going to get a dozen and straight to the face. I might gain 10 pounds on one night. It is what it is. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, I hope that after her car video with a so-called panic attack, she did not get outside the car and do more content by an ICE facility, because somebody tried to protest an ICE facility in Maine, I believe. But once they got outside the car, they didn't put the vehicle in park, so it just rolled into the water. Hey, the vehicle rolled into the water. That's what you get. But let's watch some of this.
Well, that sucks. Look at this, Lucy. Her car got lost.
So yeah, if you want to go protest an ICE facility in your car, you might want to put the car in park before you get out of it, especially if you're, I don't even know how you got right there though. Like, did it just go downhill? How close were you to the actual body of water? She probably was up there by that fence line. Okay, you see that fence right there? Probably up there by that. And then it's like a little decline right there, straight into the water. But common sense would say if you get out of your car, especially at a decline at all, you put it in park. That might be a lost art nowadays, I suppose. Hey, I get out of my car or my truck immediately. I got the same thing. Put it in the park, turn it off, roll the windows up, and then put the parking brake on. Okay? You got to put the brake on. So yeah, shout out to her. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, put the parking brake on. That's how you go protest. Okay? Now, this young lady says, if you support deportations, you shouldn't be able to do yoga or eat certain food. Okay? Now, now, I'm going to still eat my Mexican food or Filipino food, all of that. Matter of fact, I ain't going to spoil it. Let's just watch some of this.
If you are MAGA, if you are pro-ICE, if you are anti-immigration, if you support what Donald Trump is doing with immigration in this term, then stop doing yoga. Stop drinking your chai tea lattes or your matcha lattes. Stop using turmeric. Stop eating burritos and tacos and salsa. No more sushi for you. Stop eating your butter chicken tikka or hummus or spices. Because if you want the very people who brought in these things to America to make it a more cultural, diverse, then you shouldn't be allowed to reap the benefits of their cultures. If you are in favor of supporting people from the Hispanic, Latina, Indian, Chinese communities and more, then you should not be able to use items from their culture that they have brought to America. Period. If you are...
Okay, now look, you can bring things from your culture to America and still be here legally. Okay, you could still be here legally. Just because you are an immigrant doesn't mean you're illegal. That's the key difference, because they think, oh, you just hate immigrants. Nah, it's not about immigrants. It's about people who are here illegally because you're breaking the law. If I break the law, I'm held accountable. For you, if you came from different countries, it should be the same thing. Like dude from Guyana. Okay, you got a gun charge, but you didn't go to prison. If I get a gun charge, I'm going straight to the penitentiary. Same thing for any of the illegal aliens. You got to be held accountable. I'm going to eat all of the authentic Mexican food that I want. Hey, when I was in Dallas, I went to a taco spot 2 times. Hey, I'm talking about the best tacos. Hey, the refried beans, the rice. I'm going to go to the authentic Mexican spot to get what I need. And I'm still going to say, if you're here illegally from any country on planet Earth, for any color, you got to go. That'll be what I say. So shout out to her. How about you guys? What do you feel about that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Should that be a thing? That if you support deportations, you shouldn't be able to partake in anything of any other culture? Y'all let me know. Now, speaking about deportations, let's go to Chicago with ICE and the National Guard and whatnot out there patrolling. The residents appreciate it from what I'm able to see right here.
We work for you. We work for you.
They appreciate it because they understand just how crazy the streets can be out there in Chicago. They appreciate what's going on. Okay, now this is going to be out there in Portland, okay? And they are protesting against ICE. Now, what do you see about this protest that all the other ones appear to have in common? So you see kind of what's going on here. You see the general issue. You see who's at the protest. It's always the same. The white liberals out there on the left coast, out there wherever they protest, and it's always the same people. And you know what? As I've said before, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same people from all over the... You might see them in Portland and then see the exact same humans in Chicago, in Memphis, anywhere where they're called. Okay, the guy right here clearly is just, a dope fiend out there. That's pretty unique to Portland. Your white dope fiends everywhere. That's a Seattle and Portland thing, I would say. But it's always them, never anybody else. You can set your watch to it. Actually, you can see them anywhere you go. You can see them just like in the streets at Whole Foods, and you already know that they're going to be an ICE protester. All right. You already know what time it is. Now, this is going to be an example of what Antifa does. This is going to be Portland police against Antifa, and they were kind of overwhelmed, which is part of the reason why Trump has deployed 200 National Guard to Portland. All right, let's go ahead and watch this, and RIP in advance to the headphone users.
Power to the people! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Fight back! Trump says get back, we say fight back! Trump says get back, we say fight back! I 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 says get back, we say fight back! We say fight back! We say fight back! We say fight back!
There's so much going on here. First of all, we got the tanks out front. Okay, we got the big bellies out front, and some of these signs. My goodness. Okay, wait a minute. Let's go back. Revoke the permit. Okay, tear gas equals miscarriage. Well, why are you out there pregnant? Like, what's going on? Why would you be able to protest pregnant? That's not very smart or safe for your baby. Okay, F ICE. Okay, not very nice. A Palestine flag, of course, that's pretty much obligatory. Okay, we got the radical black feminist with the white guy. What's crueler than being cruel? Hey, man, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. I mean, that's a... So you see some of these signs. A lot of mental illness, a lot of things that don't make any sense. Stand in love. They think they are on the right side of history. They think they're doing the right thing, but they're not. And to all of us, it's just cringe. We don't like it, and we want to just do something else. So, yeah, shout out to them. I hope that the feds can clear them out within 24 to 48, man, because we got things to do. If you're in Portland, I know they've become a nuisance. They have become a nuisance. Now, I want to show you just how bad they are out there in Portland with the nuisance issue. This is going to be kind of an older video from June 29th of this year. So it's not that old. It's from June of this year. This is what they got to deal with in Portland when talking about these so-called protesters. Okay. Don't they have bills to pay and jobs to worry about? No, they don't. No, they don't. Of course not. Just like Zohran Mamdani, they could just go out there, spend all their money, and then when it's run out, they call their mommy and daddy. Mommy, daddy, I'm in Portland. I'm playing Antifa. Can I have $10,000 more? That's kind of how it goes. But again, this is going to be from June in Portland.
Turn that shit down! It's midnight! I will turn it down. I would love to. You just have to ask me, and I'm being nice even though you're screaming at me. Fuck you! Okay. I'm coming back every night. I'm destroying and wrecking your shit. Turn it down. We the people need sleep. I've been out here 2 days straight protecting your dogs, baby. What the fuck is this? You heard what I said, bitch. Talking to us calmly would be a hell of a lot better than... Go fuck yourself. Decolonize your fucking ass, bitch. Go fuck yourself, bro. I don't give a fuck. Stick that cane up your ass. Come on, I'm ready to go. This is the first domino falls, right? Fuck you. You know what happens? You know what happens when the first domino falls? Turn it down.
See, now they're trying to threaten her. They're trying to swarm her. They're trying to put a little light on her. See, now they're attacking this woman. All she wants is for them to stop all the noise making because she has to go to sleep. People live where they make all this noise and ruckus carrying on all night long. And this is what they got to do with night after night after night. It becomes too much. It becomes too much. She's totally right. She's 100% right. We're trying to get some sleep. Can you please stop all the noise? That's not a bad thing to ask, but of course, they don't really care too much about that. Now, I'm going to give you an example of the noise. Okay, right after she complained, they made a bunch of more noise. Now, RIP in advance to the headphone users. The sound's going to be a little bit low on my end, but it's still going to be ear piercing. Hey, I'm getting myself ready. So you hear that, right? That's not ICE making that noise. That's them. That's the Antifa making that noise. And they're making that noise every night, all night. How you going to sleep like that? And you call the police. What can the police do? Hey, feds, want to come out and help us? Sure. And voila. What does the governor say? It's racist. What does the mayor say? It's racist. What do these unwashed heathens say? It's racist. But who actually matters? The law-abiding citizens or everyone else? You tell me. What's going on? Hey, man. I wish they would, man. Listen. We got another guy saying that he's glad that the feds are coming to Portland. I show my man right here in the video, but I'll show him one more time.
So happy that Trump is sending the National Guard in here. I live in this building. We both live in this building. We've been asking for help for months, and we're finally going to get it.
When do you think they're coming?
When? Not soon enough, man. Not soon enough.
What do you want to see happen?
I want him to come in and mess them up and just annihilate these people. Whatever force they need. Whatever force they need. Gals like her and the other people that live in the building. Watch out. They're the ones. They're the ones that I'm concerned about. So they're afraid to come out of the building. So I've been coming out every night, every day to help them, to make sure that they're okay. She won't even leave the building with him.
Are you afraid of the protesters?
Very. It's an extreme mob mentality to me, which means nothing is as it should be.
So are you excited that Trump's deploying the troops here?
Very excited. I cannot wait.
I can't wait for them to leave.
Forever and ever. Amen.
And if they don't leave, I'm going to bring in the gypsy jokers.
There you go. So, hey, the people in Portland are tired. The only ones who are not tired are your unwashed Antifas, your left-wing politicians, and that's it. And people who don't know anything on the internet, that just, make assumptions at best. Okay, now this is going to be ICE agents in Portland moving against Antifa because I guess they were blocking the driveway. Okay, so now here's what force looks like. Here's what it looks like to actually have a presence.
Excuse me, this is the street. This is the street. You have no jurisdiction here. Get the fuck back underneath the building. This is our street, not yours. I don't need your fucking help.
Got a car coming out. Get out the way. Okay, that's really all it's going to be. Not going to be able to block us in. You're not going to be able to flank us. You're not going to be able to do anything to hurt us. We're going to go where we got to go, and that's it. If you in the way, then you in the way, and you'll be dealt with. And we got boys on the roof if you want to get funny. That's how we're going to go about it. So shout out to ICE out there. Shout out to the feds. Shout out to the police. Shout out to all the law enforcement out there in Portland. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got a few more things I want to get to here. Now, this is going to be, hold on, what do I want to show? Oh, I want to show this. I'm going to show more. I'm going to show some more. So this is going to be back to Illinois, Broadview, Illinois. And I guess it's a chief out here. Hold on, make sure I'm saying the right thing. Yeah, Broadview, Illinois Police Chief Thomas Mills is crying about ICE because they told him, hey, man, get out the way if you're not trying to enforce the law. If you're not trying to help us, get out the way. Okay, that's what he said that they said, but let's take a listen.
I was shocked. I've never been spoken to by a fellow law enforcement officer in such a way.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says on top of requiring 75% of his department's manpower for crowd control outside of the ICE processing facility in the west suburban city, he was personally, verbally attacked by ICE agents during a protest.
I'm a leader of a department. I know that my officers are looking at me for guidance and leadership, and I had to ensure that, I had to stay calm and not engage in such unprofessional behavior.
Chief Mills says he was walking across a skirmish on September 12th, the day this video was shot. He was called multiple expletives by an ICE agent, calling him a coward, accusing him of neglecting his duties during protests that got physical. Mills also telling the I-Team about an incident earlier this week where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their location. And during the course of that, while trying to gather information, there was pepper spray released while my officers right there. They felt the effects of that pepper spray where it altered their vision. They were coughing, and I was on the phone with them, and they had to leave the area so they can decontaminate themselves.
Now, Broadview's mayor has issued a blistering letter to ICE excoriating their actions, saying, quote, Broadview police officers are routinely being exposed to ICE agents' tear gas volleys, forcing them out of action until they recover. Broadview firefighters and ambulance personnel are being exposed. Nearby residents are being exposed.
I feel like you're kind of soft, though, because, okay, if you're going to be in law enforcement doing any kind of crowd control, anything like that, aren't you supposed to be exposed to pepper spray and stuff like that before you go out in the field, like as part of your training? Because if the police and fire are being exposed to the tear gas, then so are the ICE agents. Am I saying the wrong thing here, or what's going on? Maybe the ICE agents got better equipment, but I feel like they're all being exposed to it. And the person who got hit by a car, why was a guy in that space to get hit by the car anyway? Like, I don't think he just randomly hit him for no reason. I think he was just in the way, wrong place, wrong time, and got hit. So, I mean, and was the person injured? Did he go to the hospital? That's kind of soft. I feel like they're just trying to get in the way, really. And I feel like I'm gonna take the ICE agent side on that one. Now, Joy Reid, I gotta show this because, hey, this is Joy Reid outlining parts of the so-called fascist agenda. Now, I don't know if this is fascism, but if it is, give me a few scoops of that. Hey, give me a whole plate full and seconds and thirds and a doggy bag of that if that's what it is. Okay, let's go ahead and watch right quick so you see what I'm talking about.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things. Is that if you go back.
Listen, I didn't hear anything wrong. Listen, I did not hear anything wrong because check it out. How about no income tax? How about we're able to keep our money? How about there's no estate tax? Hey, the estate tax is when you die, they're going to tax you. Why? Why can't I keep that money, give it to my offspring, give it to my family? Why is that a bad thing? And then to want fewer things, that's not bad at all because we get a lot of junk dumped upon us by China. Things that we don't need. I'm talking about pure junk all day, every day, causing pollution, causing cancer. Fewer things is okay. Keeping our money is okay. Not being robbed by the state at gunpoint is totally fine. If that is the fascist agenda, then I'm trying to figure out why it's being seen as a bad thing. You know what? Maybe I get it. It's bad because it means less money for the state. It means less control from the state because they're not going to be funded. They got to be able to extract resources from us to control us. That's the game. So if they don't have that, then they're going to be upset. And Joy Reid is being a mouthpiece for them. Hey, guys, keep giving the government money, keep spending and going broke and become slaves to debt. I think not. So, yeah, I'm all for that agenda. I don't see why anybody would be against it. Aside from, again, Joy Reid, who doesn't want us to actually be independent people. So what do y'all think? Did you hear anything there that was going to be bad? Anything that's going to be good? Y'all let me know. Hold on. Christian Mountain Man says only tax illegal aliens and foreign workers, no taxes on U.S. citizens. Hey, how about that? How about that? They wouldn't want to do that. They want to tax us and pay them, but they don't pay anything. Oh, they pay taxes, whatever. But with a stolen ID? With a stolen social security number? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, we got Colbert and Kimmel talking about Trump, of course, because that's their only topic. Listen, when Colbert's already done. He's already finished. They said that his show's going to be over next year. And Jimmy Kimmel is done as well. Just not yet. It ain't happened yet, but it will happen. As soon as Trump leaves office, there's no more material. Maybe they'll still try to talk about him, even though he's not going to be in office. Maybe they still talk about January 6th in 10 years. I don't know. But after Trump is gone, there's no more abundance of material for them to use. The only way that they're still on the air right now is because of President Trump. And this right here is more of the same. Again, you got Colbert and Kimmel talking about Kimmel's little break from television, his little paid vacation.
Did you ever think the president of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His loyal. Yes. Yeah, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this. And I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I mean, I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. There's somebody who took pleasure in that. That, to me, is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to be.
Bro, first of all, you didn't get fired. We all knew what it was. You were suspended temporarily from the air. It was never going to be a firing because it was too much involved. You were going to get a proper send-off. If you decided to not play ball, you would have got fired, but that would have been totally 100% your fault. That's your fault. If the beatwigs come down from the land up high and they say, Jimmy, we're getting complaints from the viewers about what you said about Charlie Kirk. I need you to go out there and apologize if you want to come back on there. And if you don't want to come back, hey, man, it might be a wrap for you right now. If you apologize, another year or so, we might start talking about something else. But right now, if you want to come back, you need to apologize. And that's what he did. So it was always going to be the ball in this court. People don't want to have accountability. They think that if somebody celebrates them being suspended or fired, that there's something wrong with them, when in reality, they're the ones who caused their own demise. I don't feel bad for Jimmy Kimmel because he the one that did it to himself. But of course, I got to make Trump be the bad guy because that's their only way of being able to make content. And if they don't say that about Trump, then don't nobody care. Nobody watches. Okay, and they barely hanging on as it is. All right, now, what do I have here? Okay, what I want to show is this woman talking about the DOD, I guess, or maybe DOW, I don't know. But the Department of Defense, they need 600,000 welders and electricians. Like right now, just to maintain military equipment, not to build more, just to maintain. So if you're a young person or you got kids, or if you are of age, change careers and you want to do something else, I suggest getting into that industry, because if the military needs that many people to be welders and electricians, 600,000 of them, think about the general market, the private sector. How many do they need? How many welders and plumbers and electricians and carpenters do they need out there in the general public? Probably a lot. There's been an influx of these desk guys, and that's fine. But with the desk guy trend came a shortage in the blue collar guy trend. But let's watch some of this. All right, and let's roll it right here.
And by the way, if y'all didn't know, but most plumbers and electricians who then go on to own their own businesses make more than most doctors and lawyers today. It's actually becoming a national security issue because the DOD, Department of Defense, is looking for 600,000 electricians and welders in the next 6 years. And they don't exist. And that is just to maintain our military equipment, not to build new. And by the way, if y'all didn't know, but most plumbers and electricians who then go on to own their own businesses make more than most doctors and lawyers today. It's actually becoming a national security.
So it's a big problem. If you get into that, if you want to find a field that is sustainable, get into that field right there. Become a welder, become an electrician. Plumbing is also a good one. You'll always have work, at least into the foreseeable future, unless they can make robots that can do these tasks. But until then, you'll have work. And even if they make robots to do the task, that won't always be available to everybody. You know, you can still do work locally. I mean, look, what I thought about doing is starting a landscaping company. If I just, I could do that. I could just say, you know what, let's do landscaping. I'll do everything. I would mow. I would do your bed and border. I do pest control. I do everything. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that pretty soon here. There's a moth in here. A moth got right on my leg, and I killed it immediately. All right. R.I.P. to the moth. He dead. You're a welder. Shout out to you, Bob K. MIT. Yes, indeed. Shout out to Mike. Hey, Michael Rowe been saying it for a long time, hadn't he? He been saying it for, I feel like it's been years. But people don't want to pay attention, or they just see it and say, oh, okay, that's cool, that's nice. But it's not necessarily getting through to everybody. To some, it has gotten through, but to others, it has not gone through. Okay, now what I want to show is, this is going to be a good one. Mothman, exactly. Hey, man, that's in West Virginia popping out. The moth just popping out on my leg. Yeah. Now, this is going to be about Costco versus Walmart. Walmart has a 70% turnover rate, while Costco has a 7% turnover rate. 70% turnover rate versus 7% turnover rate, meaning hiring and firing. Okay, how many quit for somebody you got to get fired? How many quit for somebody? How many are hired? Costco keeps employees, and Walmart kind of burns through them. Let's watch some of this. I'm gonna explain why this is going on if you guys don't know.
The average pay at Walmart is $15.69 an hour. The average pay at Costco is $18.50 an hour. So we're not even talking about a $3 an hour difference, guys. So why is the annual turnover for regular employees at Walmart at 70%, 70, and the annual turnover for all Costco employees is 7%? Now, with only a $3 an hour difference, this is not enough to make up for this gigantic gap. So when people are like, well, it's always the pay. Yeah, it is the pay. But what else is going on there that creates such a massive gap between two companies that serve millions of Americans every single day?
The key is the pay. That's really the bottom line, because if Costco had the same pay as Walmart, then there would be the same turnover rate, or at least somewhat close to it.
Well, it has to be the culture that the people work in, how they are treated, the path that they are given to be able to advance, the flexibility of the schedule, and the benefits and other offerings that the people have there. So if you go, well, the benefits are probably a lot better at Costco than Walmart, that's absolutely true. And what's the path? Well, somebody can become a manager, a store manager, a territory manager, a vice president at both companies. So the path is not that different. My guess is that the path is clearly laid out to people at Costco on an annual basis and talked about, that they're treated incredibly well, that they're given very flexible schedules, and that people feel good about working there because they have an incredible culture.
Now, yes, all that's true, but the bottom line is the pay, because a good culture at a place like Costco is fostered by the people who come there, by the clientele. To go to Costco, you got to pay an annual membership, $65 a year for one person. I think it's like what, $120 for a family, for two cars in the same household. So you got to pay a membership to go there. And when you go there, it's a big box store. You're encouraged to buy in bulk. It's a place where you can go where it's not the same kind of Walmart people. It's not the thieving going on. It's an overall better place because of certain things that are there. But the main thing being the pay. That's going to be it. The pay for the employees and the premium that we pay to shop there. Okay, you got to pay to shop there. That's the key. They're getting that membership money just on GP. That goes toward a healthy environment. Walmart is bare bottom minimum prices, bare bottom minimum pay, bare bottom minimum everything. So it's going to be that same way throughout the entire culture. It's not going to be a lot of things that's really, you kind of go there to get some money and leave. You're not really looking forward to going to work at Walmart. But Costco is different because of the pay and because of how we got to pay them, the surcharge, the fee. That's all. Yeah. All right, now check it out. I got my ancestry results. I'm going to show these to you right quick. Okay. My DNA results as a Black American. I'm going to show you guys this. I put it on my Instagram and my Facebook and all of that, but I want to show y'all what I came up with. And I think most of you already know what's going on. So you see my first, Nigeria, 39%. You already knew that. And it's cool. And I got a lot more from that area. 39% Nigeria. And then, is it playing? Okay, 18% Benin and Togo, which is right next to Nigeria. Cameroon, right next to Nigeria. Scotland, of course. Okay. Scotland forever. Shout out to Scotland. Senegal. I was kind of surprised. I didn't think Senegal would be there. I thought Nigerian. Okay, Ivory Coast, Ghana. Sweden. That was surprising to Sweden. I'm like, who's the Swede? Where the Swede at? I didn't know nobody that was Swedish, but anyway, that was cool. Shout out to the Vikings. Hey, and my favorite football team, the Minnesota Vikings. That's funny. Anyway, let's keep going. And then we got Yoruba land again, Nigeria again. Central West Africa, Nigeria, that same general area, Ireland. I knew that already because, okay, so my great-grandfather was mixed black and white, and his father was Irish. We already knew that, so that's not a surprise at all. Okay, and then Nigerian woodlands, again, Nigeria. I told you that I ain't want no view. I told you this from the beginning that I ain't want no view. I am Nigerian, and I told you from the beginning now. Okay, England, again, no surprise at all. So I knew about Ireland. This was kind of different, Western Bantu. So that's like, I looked into it. It said like I was like 1% Zulu. That's interesting. Again, Bantu, that's like a common catch-all for people that live like, it's kind of a broad term, to be totally honest with you. And a lot of the Bantus live in South Africa, but maybe they got it down to where they can say, okay, Angola, Zambia, Mozambique, but not Botswana, Eswatini, or nothing like that. And then they say, over there, Mozambique, Malawi, Zimbabwe. And then here go another one, Philippines. Philippines, that was surprising. I'm like, the Philippines? How did that get there? Hey, who's a Filipino? Like, now, somebody said they could be like from Madagascar. I don't know. But they said northern and central Philippines. That's interesting. That might be why I love the Filipino people and their food, because I'm them. And then, of course, we got Native American, 1%. I am more Native and more white. Hold on. I'm more Native than Pocahontas is Native, and I'm more white than she is Native. That's funny. Speaking about Elizabeth Warren, or what is she now? Is she still a senator, House rep? I don't know what she is. Remember the whole thing where she went to college and said that she was Native American? I'm more white than she is, and more Native than she is. So can I call myself white or Native? I think not. Hey, if I show up and say, you know what? My DNA said I'm 14% white. Can I say I'm white? Clearly not. Now, people talking about trying to get your DNA profile. Anything about your DNA they already got. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Let's talk about this. They already got a lot of my family members on there, so they can easily trace me. And then there's technology that we don't know about that they use already. So whatever they want to know about you, they already know about it. You think you're trying to prevent things from getting out, but they already know it. All right. So shout out to you guys. I'm more Asian than Tim Pool too. That's funny. Nah, I think Tim Pool is much more Asian than me, for sure. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got super chats on deck, and then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Super chats right here. Thank you to the Whites man for sending 5 ABL memberships. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Boomhauer, who says, hey, ABL, I'm down to one black friend left now because of all Charlie Kirk stuff. I am now branded a racist, and I'm getting bashed online 24/7. IDGAF. Peace. Hey, you know what? It is what it is, man. I don't even care. Like, for me, anybody want to talk crazy, I just block you immediately. You know, friends want to talk crazy. I feel like if we really friends and you wouldn't talk like that, you wouldn't be trying to, you know what I mean? You would respect me and I respect you. So yeah, man, I understand what you're going through, man. Don't even worry about it. Shout out to you, boss. Thank you to Mauricio, who says fatigue button. And thank you to Tony Hay Munkits for being an ABL supporter. All right, let's go ahead and go to the calls. Again, the number to call, 706-406-3287. The number is always in the description box. Is right there in the chat too. Thank you, Sheree. And as always, right here up under me on the ticker at a certain point. There it is. Perfect timing. 706-406-3287. The phone line should be open right now. All right. Exactly. Right without a reason. Never your friends to begin with. Never your friends to begin with, because if I call you a friend, I'm a friend for real, regardless of what, thick and thin. Unless you like some kind of axe murderer or something like this, but an opinion difference, come on, we can work through that, and I'm not gonna try to disown you because I don't agree with everything you say. That just don't make no sense to me as a friend. Especially as a friend, there should be a lot more understanding there. But you know, everybody don't think the same way that we do, unfortunately. 1984 hat, you could get that from ablmerch.com, Jonesy. If you could do that for me, that'd be perfect. But again, the number to call, 706-406-3287. So has anybody ever done their DNA? What did you get? Did you guys get any surprises from your DNA? I knew what I was already. I knew, I predicted 85% African, 15% European. I knew what it was already because I already studied a lot about everything. So I was pretty much right. 84% African, 14% European, 1% Asian, 1% Native. So I was pretty much right on point. Yeah, I already knew. I just didn't know it was like all Nigeria, basically. I didn't know that part. All right. But yeah, the whole thing about people talking about they got a half a percentage white and they white or they native like Pocahontas, it makes no sense. Pocahontas was like straight European. Pocahontas might as well have been Queen Elizabeth. She was so white. It's like, man, come on. How you gonna call yourself native? That's crazy. And you never know, crypto. Could be Viking cousins. Could most certainly be Viking cousins. Hey, you never know. J Flo says 5% West African, 50% Viking. Okay. Phoenix says I am 1/4 Yaqui. What's that? Like native? And that's an ancestry DNA. Yeah, ancestry.com. That's where I got mine, Ancestry. That's what I was told was the best one as far as privacy and everything else. But like, again, I don't even worry about privacy as far as the DNA test, because if they want your DNA, they already got it. They got a lot of my family members already. So it's like they could easily just trace it back to me. That won't be no problem. You 100% pure blood beef cattle, or is that Pocahontas? 100% pure blood, because they do have those. I've seen some people who are from, like, let's say Somalia, and they come up 100% Somali on their DNA test. SR said, my big surprise, 7.5% African. So SR, what's your race that you are? Philip says, my Jeep Cherokee is more Indian than Pocahontas. Hilarious. Hilarious. Kenta the Wind says, a friend knows what movies you like, what girls you like, what colors you like, what food you like. How many friends do you have? Kenta the Wind said, my friends have been around since brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers. Yeah, I mean, if you got friends like that, that's good. You know, friends your whole life. You know, I got some friends like that where it's like your parents know them, and people like that. That's kind of hard to come by in 2025, depending upon how you live and where you live. If you're kind of like moving around, going place to place, it can be hard to maintain those kind of friends. But if you got them, that's a blessing. That's like having more family. I don't got a lot of those friends. I got a lot of family that's like that. I got a lot of cousins, a whole lot of cousins, whole lot of aunts, uncles, grandmas, friends of their family. We got a lot of family members that's like, you know, that's who your support system is. Way more than friends. Yeah. EM says my DNA is FBA mixed with some more FBA. There you go, EM. Hey, and then another thing they said was all of my DNA, it comes, aside from Africa and all of that, it comes from Virginia, which is what I already knew. 859, you're the line. Who am I speaking to? 859, hello. Going once, going twice. I don't know what happened to 859. Maybe it was my phone, maybe it was his phone or her phone. I don't know what's going on. Leslie said, I took Ancestry and the percentages changed a bit each year, but mostly British and European. The type of African was a surprise. Yeah, they change, I think, when you have others who do it, who are related to you. And it just kind of adds to it, especially if you got like a close family member. In my case, I got my cousin who looks just like me, for real. If you see my cousin who did it, she's like my sister, basically. If I say that's my sister, you would say, yeah, okay, that makes sense. My cousin who did the test looks more like my sister than my sister, which is crazy. I'm going to do that one next, though, Tony. The African ancestry, I'm going to do that next, for sure. That's the next one I'm going to do. And once you do that one, I read that you can get more into detail of where you're from specifically, as far as the tribes and everything else. Because they said Yoruba, Igbo, and there were a few more, but those were the two main ones that I saw. But I can go more into it on the African ancestry, where they really kind of dig down deep and understand what's happening. All right, hold on. Steven says, if you don't like my job, stay off the sidewalk. That's funny. That is funny. But again, the number to call, 706-406-3287. Hey, man, Trump sabotaging the phones again. You never know what's going on. Sometimes, you know, these phone lines don't really work the way they're supposed to. Thank you, Jonesy. I appreciate you. How far back? Okay, my last name, Beef Cattle. My last name, that's kind of, so my last name comes from my dad's dad. So, and that kind of started with him. You see what I'm saying? So there's a bunch of other people who do not have her last name that goes back further than that. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to explain. Like my granddad's dad, they don't know a lot about him. They know his name, but they don't know a lot about him. And I've not traced that tree, but I did already know about my great grandmother's DNA. I already knew about that side on my great grandma's side for dad. I already knew about that already. I already knew who they were and where they lived and everything. And when I did my DNA, it came up just exactly where I thought it was going to be. One thing about us, there was not a lot of lapses in our knowledge of who we are. There's some little patches, but for the most part, I could trace both sides all the way back to the boat. Both sides. All right, hold on. Leslie says, take the male DNA test, you'll find out more. The male DNA test, how is the male DNA test different and what company provides that? Maurice says, my family had to go to some European trip to track down the churches in the countrysides where our relatives got married. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. My granddad was, nah. We could trace, you know what's funny, actually, Ken to the Wind. We got a white ancestor we can't trace. We don't know who we know him, but we don't have a lot on him. I've been able to find the black side, but not the white side. That's the funny part. All the black side we pretty much got. We just don't know one. It's like it's a couple little patches here and there who we don't know. We do know the white ancestor. We can't trace them though. Now, how did humans get here? You know how we got here. We were created. It says it right there in your book. Any kind of book you're going to read about human history that you believe, it says the same thing. We were created. The Islam and the Hindu and the Christian all say the same thing. We were created. So that's not really even something that should be a conversation. Leslie says the male DNA test looks at that Y chromosome info. I don't know which company. Okay. I'm gonna look into it and see what's going on. Thank you for that tip. Thank you for that piece right there, that breadcrumb. ZS says last names mean nothing in the U.S. John Kerry got Austrian Hungarian grandmother who opened the map and pointed blind. Right. Yeah, the last name don't really mean a lot. The main thing is just the ancestry, where you came from. And mine, it says Virginia, Ohio, West Virginia, the things that I already knew. And we got family there in those places right now today. So it wasn't even a surprise. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can show it without, doing nothing crazy. Okay, so you guys can see that right there. See that map? See, that's all. It started, we got family right there. And then here, Virginia, West Virginia, and then Southern Ohio, a little bit North Carolina, but mostly here in this area. And then here, West Virginia, and then a little bit in Ohio too. Yep. And that goes all the way back to the 1700s on this. But we could probably go back to 16 if we kind of put and really do it. We could go back to the 1600s because we got here first. We've been here. We were the first ones here. I said that before. We were the first ones here because the 1619 project, that was right there in Virginia. That's where I grew up, right there. They brought the first slaves to the English did, because I guess they had slaves in Florida, but they brought the first slaves from the English colonies right to Virginia in 1600. And we went from there and spread throughout Virginia and then into Ohio. Yep. So we've been here quite a bit. So when anybody says, you hear this whole thing about what they call it, the they say it's the I'm a tether. I'm not really a black American. It's like, for real, me, the first guy to get to America is not really an American. Oh, okay. Hey, yeah, all of that. Jamestown, Williamsburg is right there. We used to go to Jamestown, Williamsburg for field trips in elementary school. I'd be like 3rd grade going to Williamsburg for a field trip. That was like 30 minutes away. That's nothing. Royal Squishy says, even relatives have stories of winged beings that came down from the stars. Absolutely. Mandy says, if there was a railroad building, that might have been where your white heritage came from. Well, we know where the white heritage came from on my mom's side because my 2 times great-grandfather was Irish, and he lived with my great-grandmother. They were married, had kids, had my great-grandfather, and then here I am. 859, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going? Luciferian Libertarian, how's it going, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
All right. Just watching the show, relaxing, doing some work at the same time, just driving, chilling out, smoking, listening to the show, and I was listening to this whole thing of Hala, the congresswoman who's Muslim, was it Imar or Omar? I'm terrible with names, you know how I am. Very, very good faces.
You mean Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, that person. And you were mentioning about her, and she's trying to appease a religion and supporting a religious ideology that goes against our American beliefs, because what they Sharia law believes in, that everybody's a second-class citizen who don't believe in Allah. In America, we have freedom of religion. You're about equal as everybody else according to the law. I mean, whoever's the judge not doing favoritism on, but that's a whole other level. That's a whole other subject. But she's playing it. She's just playing them as usual. And she's no different than the Machiavellian types. She really is. She's using religion just to gain a following and gain a focus. And that's always been a thing. And I really think almost literally everybody in politics, down to even to the origin, does this Machiavellian kind of lifestyle. But in all fairness, I mean, it's always been a game to everybody else. It's always been a form of a delusion. And her form of delusion is quite obvious. Trump, on the other hand, brutally honest. And when I mentioned, I called up here and I said about, the TV host made the remark about Donald Trump not having any emotions when Charlie Kirk died. Well, you have to realize, if you're a leader, if you're a strong leader, you have to put your emotions aside to do the job. She uses that as a weapon to the point of just manipulation. She is a form of evil that you would see from a snake, you know? Using religion just to fuel her greed and power. Something what my beliefs have been fighting against for the longest time, and that's why I'm sincerely not a fan of the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. I don't want our soldiers going over there to fight for a holy war that has none of our doing, that we don't deserve to be part of. We left that ideology of fighting over religion a long time ago in America. When we made the revolution, we said, hey, we'll just live free and live in our denominations and be left alone. Her, on the other hand, she wants to bring Sharia law, and what she doesn't realize, she opened up a whole can of worms she doesn't want.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate your phone call very much. And also, taking the DNA test, I did not know for the longest time, because I never met my dad till I was 23. I'm a quarter Arab. Did not know that.
Wow.
I'll talk to you later, yo. See you later, man. I appreciate the phone call. Hear more of your content. And, yeah, definitely. Just keep me updated, man. Have a good one, man. Luciferian Libertarian out.
All right, thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
You too.
All righty, quarter Arab. That's crazy. You never know how that works. Yeah, man. It's always good to find out a little bit about yourself you didn't know. For sure. So, yeah, shout out to him and shout out to you guys as well. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Let's pick it to 757 on the line.
Yeah, Mr. Logan, Chesapeake Bob here. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I'm okay. I got a question for you, but I have a story to tell you first. Is that all right?
All right.
All right, so I took an Uber and went down. Excuse me, went down to the casino in Portsmouth. Yes, that's how you pronounce it, by the way. It's called Portsmouth. So I'd go down there about once a week, play cards because I like to play cards, poker, and so I was down there. I went down about 6 o'clock in the evening, and about 1 o'clock in the morning, I called for another Uber. I was up about $1,000. So I'm walking, and you don't know this, but I'm not a big, tall guy like you. So I'm walking to the front door, and there's 3 white dudes right there by the steps. And the one in the middle looked at me, and he said, "Walk around, old man." Well, I'd had enough to drink that I really didn't want to, take anybody's guff. So I stepped back and looked at him. And then, you ever have an out-of-body experience? You know what that is?
Yes, I've had that before. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm watching myself, and all of a sudden, my right foot kicked this dude right in the gonads. Okay? Well, apparently he'd been drinking too, and he falls down to the floor, and he throws up all over the carpet. Nice carpet down there.
Wow.
Now, I got 2 other guys I got to deal with, right? And all of a sudden, these 2 great big dudes literally picked me up and carried me outside, which is where I was going anyhow. And they just stood there and waited for me to get my Uber. Now, here's my question. Well, 2 questions. 1, was I right? And 2, do you think they'll let me back in?
I think you probably were right. You didn't really hurt him too much. You just kind of fell, and he'd been drinking. And, you probably would be able to come back because it wasn't your fault. You didn't start anything. You just minding your business, and you getting accosted by these guys. So I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, I just word to the wise for the youngins that listen. If you see an older man who's obviously been drinking, don't call him old, okay? Because it's probably not going to go too well. But anyhow, I just wanted to call in, say hello, love the show, and I'll be listening to you on the side.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Great call. Let's go to 215 hit on line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's all good, man.
Yes. Hey, can you hear me now?
I hear you well.
Okay, cool. So, did you hear about the kill? Remember back in 2020 when all those riots were going on, especially down in Atlanta, and there was this girl, Sequoia Turner. Do you remember that name?
Yes.
Did you hear that they caught the killer and he just got convicted today? He's been sentenced.
I saw that he got caught, but what was the sentence? Do you know?
I think he got 25 to life in prison.
I mean, and deserve every minute of it. And for those who don't know, what happened, this is during Black Lives Matter in Atlanta. There was a group of people who had taken over this area where Wendy's had burned down. It was a long story. But they took the area over, and a mother was driving with her daughter, and they were trying to go home. But this area was blocked off, and they didn't know it when they got off at the exit. So they were trying to turn around, and as they're turning around, the guys who had the area blocked off for Black Lives Matter shot into their car indiscriminately and killed the little girl. She was 8 years old, Sequoia Turner. So I'm glad that guy has been captured and sentenced, because if it was me, listen, you catch the guy who did it, take him on out back and do it to not have any burden on the taxpayer. But he got 25 years in prison. That's a good compromise.
Yeah, 25 to life. So pretty much, and he just got sentenced. It was like what, last week?
Yeah, it was recently. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow, he's finally getting sentenced 5 years later. I wanted to go look back. Wait, did they capture him that same year? I had forgot because it's been so long.
Well, I'm not really sure when they got him, but I'm glad they got him.
All right, that makes sense. And one more question I wanted to ask you about. Oh yeah, sorry, I can't remember off the tip of my tongue. But that's mainly what I called you about, is the Sequoia Turner's killer. Pretty much they captured him and he got sentenced. And I didn't know if you knew about it, but I probably figured you caught it by now.
Yeah, absolutely. I did.
All right, then. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, you have a good night.
Same to you. Yeah, man, that story was crazy. I remember that story very well. It's like one of the ones that stay in my mind and they can't go away. And Tara Moody says, "Yep, you correct, ABL, that Wendy's is now a gas station, convenience store." Yeah, that whole situation was crazy. Totally crazy. I mean, it was just, I couldn't believe it. But then again, I could, because that's what they do over there on that side. They're violent people. They're dangerous people. So I'm glad that guy did get caught, and he is going to the penitentiary to make big rocks to little for 25 with the L. 25 with the L. He needed it. Like I said, I would just say take him on over there and have it be done. So we don't gotta be worried about trying to. Nah, let's just go ahead and do it now. That's what I would say. But the number to call is 706-406-3287. The number is always in the description, also in the ticker under the video. So I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling with me. And let's see some of the comments here. Tammy says, anybody who is committed to doing anything with the child does not fare well on the inside. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Let's put them in the hole somewhere. Even then, you still not gonna have a good time, because the guard's not gonna like you. Nobody's gonna like you. The people who get the absolute worst treatment in prison are those who, child offenders, anything like that. You're seen as a scum of the earth. And you get punished in prison, and rightfully so, in my humble opinion. You rightfully get punished in the penitentiary. Francis says, can Superman DNA be tested? Who knows? Who knows? Shout out Superman. And shout out to you guys for rocking and rolling with me. Crypto says, I agree. If caught in the act, take quick care of business. Just go ahead and be done with it, so you don't got to worry about it. And then that's it. If you get like hardcore proof, because sometimes people are accused of things, and sometimes the evidence is not totally, it's a little shaky, it's a little janky. But if the evidence is there and you can prove that the person did it, go ahead and just be done with the person and move on with your life. Y'all see Elon Musk became the first person to hit a net worth of $500 billion. How are you worth $500 billion as a human being? The intelligence is off the charts. Elon being worth so much money is just purely intellect, in my opinion. Intellect and bravery. People could say that he has whatever kind of autism. Okay, that's fine. But I feel like autism and things like this are used sometimes as crutches or as an excuse. Oh, I got autism, I can't. Well, listen. And then there's also varying degrees of autism. You have some autism where it's like you're not really mobile. You're really physically disabled. You can't really do much because of the autism. And then there's also autism where you're totally fine. You might just have social tics and things that others don't have. That does not make you disabled. It just makes you different. There's a difference between being disabled and being different. Just because you are different does not mean that you have a disability that is going to get in the way of you being able to succeed. Yeah, I don't like that whole thing. Just like Amanda Z was talking about I got autism. Okay, what that mean, Amanda? Like, you just are a person that people don't like. So you want to say I got a disability to cover it up. I don't like that. I don't like those who use disabilities as excuses when truthfully they're able-bodied and they can do things like everybody else can do. If you are like in the wheelchair permanently, you can't move your limbs, you can't speak, that's way different than just being different. If that makes any sense. All right. Lasher says aliens' children are here. Now, some would say that we're the aliens. That's what some would say, that we're the aliens, or that we were interfered with by the aliens, that we are and they were the creators. That's what some are going to say. Some are going to say it was the aliens. Some are going to say it was God. It depends on what you want to believe. It depends on your faith. And I'm not here to say that anyone's faith is right or wrong, because it's your faith and you have it. I say whatever faith you have, cling on to it. Okay, believe whatever you want. Michael says Isaac Newton is an autistic goat. Hey, there you go. Boom. Exactly. And I'm sure Nikola Tesla was not necessarily just like I'm sure Nikola Tesla was not a normie. I mean, guys who do really, really big things, really impactful things, are not going to be your regular, everyday, normal people. Okay, they're not going to be. Okay, we don't belong. No, we belong here. We certainly belong here. We're able to breathe this air just fine. We're able to be outside. We're able to drink water that gets produced by we belong here. We do. But some of us have lost touch with nature, and maybe they don't belong here. Maybe they don't feel like they belong because they have gotten out of touch with what they're supposed to be in touch with, which is nature. Maurice says, however, when you're valued at $500 billion in stock option assets, you can just borrow money for free and live on at 0%. Hey, there we go. There we go. Rehab Master says you got to be obsessed pretty much. Yeah, you got to be obsessed. And if you're not keyed in like that, then Phoenix says humans do mammal behavior. Humans build skyscrapers. Who are we? A hybrid. a hybrid, obviously. Something that was created, like it says right there in the Bible, we were created. Ken to the Wind says Jehovah is the creator of the universe. His son is Michael. There are those who believe that someone called Lucifer even comes close. I'm not super sure what you're trying to say there, but shout out to you. Leslie says God created man and woman, and Adam and Eve. There it is, right there in the book. It says it. The first thing we always like, it's the first right there. You open the Bible, it's right there. Genesis, it tells you how we happened. Any questions, it's right there. The questions are answered. And I'm sure in the other text, it's the same thing. You have a question about how we got here. Where did we come from? What's our purpose? It's all right there written for you. Mandy says, Anthony, when he was a little boy, he was probably going to see those museums and actually seeing some of your relatives. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. At the museums, absolutely. You see some relatives. But again, we knew a lot of our family already, though. We knew people that were all the way back in the 1800s and 1700s. We already knew everybody for the most part. There's some gaps, and maybe them I would see in the museum and I didn't know. But for the most part, we knew who everybody was. We just didn't know necessarily what place we came from over there. But once we got here, we knew where we from and who was kin to who and whatnot. Oh, and one more thing about how we got here, all the other, esoteric stuff. The moon is not naturally occurring. It was created. Some say it's an alien base right now. And when you go on the dark side of the moon, it's stuff over there that we can't see on the surface. But mostly it's all underneath the surface. On the moon, all the craters, if you look, have varying diameter, but all the same depth. Now, if you have craters on the place with no atmosphere, why are they all the same depth? It's because there's a shell that's impenetrable. The craters are being created by the dust on the moon's surface, not from actually penetrating the moon. You're just penetrating the surface. Does it make any sense? Made of cheese? Nah, I'm not sure what it's made of, but it's not naturally occurring. It's not naturally occurring, and the moon being right there regulates the temperature and everything on Earth. Without the moon being right there, life would not be possible for humans. That's kind of part of terraforming. So, if you believe in the Christian story, God made heavens and earth, including the moon, including the earth, including the sun, or whatever. Ram says, hey, ABL, what is stopping you from believing Jesus Christ? I don't like people that do that because I feel like you're trying to bully me into believing your religion. Don't do that. Just let me come to my own realization on my own. If I don't want to do it, then I'm not. And I most certainly don't respond to bullying. That's what it feels like. I'm not trying to say you're doing that, but you have to understand. It's like when you get people that come to your door soliciting, talking about Jehovah's Witnesses. All I want to do is tell you to go ahead and just leave right now before I call the police. Don't try to come bullying me into believing your faith. You can have your faith, and if I want to believe your faith, then I'll believe it. I was raised in it. I know all about it. If I want to do it, I'll do it on my own. But you can't ask me that because the way you're doing it is like bullying. And I don't like that. But I'm not trying to say you're doing that. I'm just trying to say that's what it feels like to me, to answer your question. NKM says, ABL, did you hear about that weird comet going through our solar system, that the 3-eye atlas? I seen that. They're talking about it could be a spaceship and they might land here any day now, or let's say like in 2027. I saw that. I mean, hey, if it's a spaceship, I say, come on. Hey, man, I want to see who's on the ship. I want to see who's on the ship. Come on. Let's do it. Why would I answer the door? I don't go to the door. But what I want to do is go to the door and say, I'm going to call the police if you don't leave. I'm kind of not really that serious about that. All right. That might be right for me. I don't got no more calls coming in. Y'all chilling tonight. Y'all, I'll be back live on Saturday. Same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here all throughout the week putting out pre-recorded content. Shout out to you guys who were on the Instagram live last night. Had a good time on that. Great show from you guys last night. But that'll be a wrap from me. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you heard tonight, if you enjoying the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And this is also an audio streaming podcast you're listening to right now. You can find it on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Spotify, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. All righty. So again, shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mobs for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. And did I get everybody? Thank you to Tony Hay Munkits for becoming an ABL supporter, and thank you to Jay Bridge for becoming an ABL supporter as well. Shout out to y'all. I'll be back again on Saturday live, but every day put out pre-recorded content. Any tips, any stories you want me to cover, email me at contact@anthonyblogan.com. Also go to the website. The email's right there on the website, contact@anthonyblogan.com. But that'll be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.